I don't like that.
No, we're not muted anymore, Judy. We're just talking about something that smelt.
Yes. The unfortunate byproduct of all living things.
Yeah, especially ducks.
Well, you don't hear the ducks complaining, do you?
Oh,
They might
sometimes they
be,
do.
but
They might be. Yeah.
as none of us speak fluent duck.
Well,
Dear.
we all know what happens to the ducks that do speak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Press the volume button. Have I got a volume button?
have you?
Yeah, I can. Well, I can turn you down, but I can't turn you up any higher. I mean, I could over there. I could.
Oh, what's this bloody meeting in a bit? Oh yeah, that one.
No, we can't hide Alan while he's not here. I can put him in space. I'll put the space one back up here. Sorry, Peanuts. I was playing around with the stream's background.
He was doing all sorts of weird things. He was.
Farmer lost his bookshelf. He wasn't happy.
Yeah, I've gone to a lot of effort with this, you know.
I could get a picture of a library, have all the bookshelves on the background.
I've bloody got one, and this is only half of it. Oh dear! When the electricians around the other week, and the young lad had come up to replace the lights in the bathroom, he looked in there and went, "Bloody hell, that's hell of a collection." I said, "Do you want to see the rest of it?"
That's just a sample.
Yeah. How long's that taken? I said, "A long time."
I've got books, but I haven't got a shelf.
I don't think I've actually got any more room in this house for more bookcases unless I get rid of that double bed in the other room.
Well, you got the ceiling.
Because I don't want to clutter up the lounge, the main room downstairs. That's got one little sort of half bookcase. That's the Terry Pratchett collection. I could put another one in there, but that start looking a bit sort of messy and cramped. And
well, you don't need all the stairs. You could always block off half the stairs and put a set of bookshelves along the wall as you walk down the stairs.
Nah.
No.
I've seen older houses that have had bookcases going or shelves going up the staircase. That can look quite nice, but that won't work in this house, and that's a bit too permanent for me as it's not mine. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can't just go screwing holes in the wall everywhere.
no, certainly not in a house like this where it's all plasterboard.
Yeah.
Actually, Dora, at one point I was considering making one of these other bedrooms my main bedroom, because obviously my main bedroom is the biggest room up here, but it's also the only one with carpet, so no, it's not it. And it's got two bookcases in there already, so.
Well, you get the whole lounge room to yourself then. Maybe you have the sofa.
No, I mean, I've got some capacity here, but when it gets to it, then yeah, I'll have to consider Squeak's room. She'll have to lose her double bed. But that's very handily hiding all the stuff that's dumped underneath it at the moment.
Well,
that's why it's still there.
I've got closed captions going in the live stream. I don't need that. You see the thumbnail? I just randomly picked something because I seen Blue dropped a video, so I thought I'd pinch that, screen capture that.
Yep, yeah. So Peter and Pete. I watched that. I watched that last night.
Yeah, so we'll watch that in a little while.
The projection from those two is just off the charts. You know, I mean, how these idiots can say, "Oh, yeah, these Globers have got something wrong in their heads." It's like, no, hang on, no, it's the other. Right, okay, whatever. What's the first rule about Dunning-Kruger? You don't know you're at the peak of Dunning-Kruger. Bless their cotton socks.
Well, we've had to extend the peak of Dunning-Kruger a little bit higher. I think it's off the
I-
charts for some people.
I think now, I think you have to think of it less as a peak and more of, say, a plateau or a mesa. It's high, but it's also very broad to accommodate the sheer numbers of people that are up there. Another cup of bollocks, yeah, that's right.
No? Yes?
Hey, it's an yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, another cup of tea, please. And I thought, who am I talking to? Shit, it's me, bugger.
But if you're going to go make a tea, you have to go
There you are.
do
We'll
this.
put Alan in space.
Don't hold your breath. I keep saying you got to exhale. Don't hold your breath.
Paul's got a thumbnail. It didn't work.
No, not quite. But his Wi-Fi's on.
Yes.
What was the other
I
one
can't
we
do it
tried?
anymore.
It was the video. Yeah, I've got to work out a video. So if we do a video, use it all on the bottom like that. But I can move it
There was
up
what?
there like that. So.
There was one where we was like sat at a desk. I can't remember whether that's the one that had the fire on in the background.
The fire one.
There was one with the fire, weren't there?
Yeah, there's the fire one.
That's it.
That's the fire one. Yeah.
Oh,
You got
I'm
no one
down there
sitting
and
next
out
to you.
there.
Wait a minute, I'll move
Oh,
Alan. I
such a
don't know if I can move Alan down there, can I? There you go. There you're just sitting at. You're a bit shorter in the desk for some reason. Alan's not too bad. He worked out all right.
That's because I think Farmer's camera's slightly. Farmer's probably sitting slightly closer to his one than I am to mine at the minute.
Yeah.
hang on.
Yeah, that
There we
looks
go.
good. Yep, there you go. Just don't get burnt by the fire behind you.
So no wonder it's so bloody hot in here. You got the fire on. Who lit that? Eh?
What was the other one? I can put you on the ski lift. you just look cold with your t-shirts on in the snow there. You might just snuggle up together to get warmer.
Hang on.
Stop it, Farmer.
Oh dear, this is silly.
You've kind of got to go the other way, haven't you? Because it's all.
Yeah, don't fall off the
It's-
ski lift.
yeah, I know. That's what keeps throwing me off. Everything's asked about.
You'll fall off.
Yeah, don't go too far.
Any other clever ones? Yeah, we had this one. We made. We done that one.
Oh, look, it's my little tanky. Well, technically, it's not a
I
tank.
can't do anything about Paul because Paul's just a static photo. Yeah, that's it, Mum. It's like as if you're actually in the photo.
How long have I got to hold this for? It's the ending to a Police Squad episode.
So, what was you used to say on Hello Hello?
What parking is it? What was it? His little tanky, and it was supposed to be one of these, I think. And technically, what bloody way is it? That's not a turret.
You know, when
You
I
kept
looked
telling
at
us that
when I
it
first
might
looked
look
at
like
that
one, but it's
tank,
not
when
tank.
you posted a picture of it, that'd nearly be something you'd see today. In its design, you know, not saying exact, but with the angular shapes of things and.
Yeah, because they've now realised today that they give them sort of angular undersides so that when they run over a landmine or an IED, it forces the blast away and outwards instead of directing it up at the vehicle. So these things designed in the sort of mid to late 30s are actually very advanced for their time.
Yeah.
You know, wishbone suspension. Don't use cart springs. It's 4-wheel drive. The angled sort of body helps direct the blast away. All sorts of things. They're very clever bits of kit.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't want to go into battle in one because the armor's not very thick.
Stop small arms though, won't it?
Oh, it stopped small arms. Yeah, that's about
That's
it.
what it's designed for.
Yeah, they're reconnaissance vehicles. But that one, it turns out I didn't quite realise on the day that is actually unique. It's the only one of its type in the world that runs. Although, ironically, on Saturday it didn't run.
Right.
It got run. They got the engine going the day before, but it got electrical problems. I think because out the back there was a whole bundle of wires hanging down. I thought, right, yeah, you've desperately tried to get it working. I thought, no, we'll just push it out. But yeah, there's most of that thing is genuine. There's parts on there that were dug up from the Battle of Stalingrad and things like that.
So why isn't there any more of them around?
Because at the time during the Second World War, it was just scrap metal. You know, why keep them?
Was that a 20mm on there with the
Yes.
zip gun?
Yeah, KWK-30, it's 20mm cannon and a MG-34 coaxial.
That doesn't quite work.
Not quite. I'm sort of out in the middle of nowhere. And inside, the driver's got a fair bit of room, but the two guys operating the guns, you wouldn't get in and out of there in a hurry. That's not a lot of room in there.
I assume there was only going to be one person in there.
Oh no, keep calling it a turret. I mean, it looks like one and it isn't. But yeah, there's two guys in there. The sort of the gunner and the commander. I think the commander also acted as the loader because they tended to be magazines that you clipped in. But yeah, he's the chap who does this. He is a stickler for detail and attention. And the only stuff they've made from scratch is where they've just had to, because there's, I think the two front mudguards, they just couldn't find any mudguards anywhere that were of any use.
So did I miss some interesting stupid or?
No, we ain't got that far yet.
No, we haven't
No.
started stupid yet.
Dang.
You were hoping, weren't you?
Yeah, I might have been hoping.
Would that work if I did that?
Oh, we're floating in the blackness of nothing.
I hate it when that happens. I really do.
So that's the only choice I got. Only video. No, I just thought I could find a picture maybe that instead of the ones they give you.
Oh no, I'm disappearing. I need a black t-shirt on. Can I just be a disembodied head?
We're picking my black t-shirt up without any trouble.
Yeah.
And yours is not that far off. Yeah, your navy blue is not that bright, is it?
No, it's doing a good job. I can see my bookcases.
Through your headset.
Through the ear. Well, if I turn... Oh, they're gone now.
Yeah, it's just struggling at the...
How about I put yours here?
But the picture's rotated through 90 degrees at the minute.
They always do that, don't they? With that particular photo.
Yeah,
I
but
think
what I can do, I just figured out.
That's the 508 one, isn't it?
Oh, look at that! I can do that.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah. That's clever.
Because there is another similar one with the moon in a very similar position, but it's the famous Michael Collins photo of everybody every human in existence except Michael Collins.
Yes.
I could put you in my.
So,
I can put you there.
what? People look at your photos and go, "Why are you never in any photos? Yeah, why is there never any photos of you?" Because I was the one with the camera taking them.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, all our old family photographs, you hardly see any of Dad because he's the one taking the bloody photos.
I feel like I should be singing a whimmer, a whimmer.
Oh dear.
I thought I might have a novel photo, but I can't find one.
So why should ducks wear undies?
I shudder to think. Go on.
To cover their butt quacks.
Oh.
Oh, we meant to
dear.
laugh. Oh, sorry.
Ha 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 ha. Butt quacks. Grief. That's a slippery slope you're going down there, mate.
It is, it is, it is.
That's a bit too blurry, that one. Yeah, I've got a
That's
lot
where
of
my
photos.
PC's trying to take off.
None of them are.
It's the clangers.
Black and white's no good.
Where's the soup dragon?
Keep penny whistle for that, didn't you?
Yeah. It's a soup dragon and what were they, froglets or something?
I remember the soup dragon, but I'm not quite sure.
They were little green. Sorry,
You're Googling it, aren't you?
it's a long time since I watched the clangers, I tell thee.
Oh, yeah. That was a Furman production, wasn't it?
Yeah, Oliver Postgate, yeah.
Oh, that didn't work.
Iron Chicken.
Ah, yes, the Iron Chicken.
I thought that was supposed to be the table. If that was the proper table, I could use it periodically. That was meant to be funny. Paul got it.
The butt quacks one was funny, eh?
They were orange. The froglets, they were orange. There was 3 of them. There was a baby soup dragon.
No.
It was good, but it wasn't Bagpuss.
That'll do. Now change.
I've got that already.
How do I get rid of it again? Go back to here. Stop. There we go. That brings it back to normal. There we go.
I think you need to put Lindsay on in about 3/4 of an hour.
Oh, in 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah, have you got a meeting or something?
I've got a meeting.
Yeah,
at 2 o'clock,
exactly.
yeah. And I'm kind of hoping that by the time it's done, might just be the same length as a Lindsay video. It's worth a go.
Oh, Paul wasn't here with the TT guys quiz the other day.
No, I wasn't. No,
Oh, how did that go? I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, that went well. I might not have got any answers correct, but it went well.
Zebulon's got it right. Yes, hello. I am indeed Farmer Bob.
We've got an L and M. Paul, have we got a clue? I haven't got a clue.
Yet. Do you want a clue?
No, I haven't got a clue.
Now you do.
All letter word, first name beginning with L.
Okay, L something M discovered that nuclear fission, not to be confused with fusion, can produce enormous amounts of energy. co-discovered the phenomenon of radioactive recoil. L something M. They're thinking about it. I can hear their little brains ticking over out there.
Don't know.
No, they're not answering. They're probably all Google.
Give him a chance.
Love Machine. Yeah, that was the guy. Yeah, Love Machine.
You didn't say if it was a female or male, did you? Because Clive says Lisa Mintner.
Yeah, he's right, but the wrong spelling. He is correct, though.
You only get a half a point, Clive.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, I can't put off Lindsay for 3/4 of an hour, Farmer. That's just okay. There's
Well,
that's what we're up to anyway. These two.
I suppose the saving grace is I do need another mug of tea, so.
Yeah. Okay, I'll pause that. It's ready to go. Put it onto Lindsay. Speed. Hey, get back there, you. I didn't tell you could come on yet. Alright. He had this half blocked off, remember? He had a rag over it or something. Last time, anyway. He said, oh, that's for another video or something.
Oh, was he teasing?
Yeah, he had a blanket covering half the screen for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what was going on for that. Alright. I've got everything I need over here. You can go and make your cuppa now, Farmer.
Righto. I'll hear the first minute or so and then think, yeah, I'll go and put the kettle.
Yeah.
Hi there, welcome to Flat Earth Philosophy. Everything's Flat Earth here. Today I just want to touch on a subject that a lot of Flat Earthers are looking into, and that is the moon having the negative image of Earth on it. Now, at first I poo-pooed that idea, quietly. But now that I've come to realise, you might have seen in my previous videos, about the moon being the shadow of the sun.
Still can't wrap my head around that one.
Created by the black hole. Now, and you would have also noticed in my videos that Earth is from the hole, the place of rest. And a lot of people don't want to talk about the black hole because they think it's flipping science fiction, heliocentric ideas. Black hole, place of rest, inside the vortex. Nothing going on in the middle there. All the action's around the horizon. And the sun is created there. Because there's two-way force coming up, meeting plane of inertia right there, that's where they meet. And that's basically bang, the black hole. But the action creates the voltage, the sun on the side. The sun's on the side. And then you've got the moon on this side, winding right around the whole system. You want to check out my other videos. And the moon only shows up because of the position of the sun in relation to the centre hole. That's the phasing onto the moon. But the moon we see is the negative image created from the black hole, not from the sun. The sun dissolves the moon. So, because the Earth is from the hole, place of rest, and that's creating the negative image which gives us the moon, therefore, the image on the moon may very well be the image of the Earth from the centre of the hole.
Not this whole shot again.
Just wanted to point that out. Another thing is, I'll be doing a video on Mikko Kakusu, but in his video, they were talking about the constant, talking about relativity and all that, constant movement. Like a clock, you see. you can refer it to this flat earth model like the clock. From there to there, it's the same time from there to there. You know, all their fancy words they use for all these cosmological, no, it's not that, what is it, what am I to call it? Can't remember. So there you go. So there's proof that the flat earth model works, because that is the same as this. All working at a constant. They talk about going faster up here or slower here. They can't understand it. So I'm going to do that video, but I'm not prepared at this minute. So these are the constants. So it's the electromagnetic field, the toroidal field of Earth expands out south. It's a lot bigger out around here. The field's wider, bigger, but everything expands as we move out. But it's all constant from right back here. So your plane flight from there to there will be the same time as it from there to there. All your flights will work. It's the way it is. It'll just go a lot quicker. And as you elevate, this is how it works. See, with the Earth model, the further you go south, the more you get away from the north, everything expands. But it's a two-way system, because there's a dual system. The further you come away from the Earth, the faster you go. So you could be doing 40k down here. You get up here doing 40k, up here doing 40k. That's the way it works. Literally, an elevation. Another dual system in the flat earth design. I've just done a video I posted online. If we read the comments, how I describe it's a dual system. There are certain people that say no, it's a single system because it all boils back to one thing anyway. Well, yeah, sure. Back in creation, it was a singularity. But once we enter into the physical world, it's a separation. That's why we have male and female. When you go back to creation, after you die, you become one again. You don't long for your wife. You don't go hunting for a woman. It's within you. You are male and female. Like I mentioned in the comments there. Adam. Atom. Atom is a dual system. Adam. You could virtually say Adam. Add him. Even the word Jesus represents two entities. Because the whole story of Jesus is reunification, uniting within himself, male and female. All the religious stories talk about the male and the female, the woman this, woman that. But in all those philosophical stories, there's always a trinity. So you've got the male and the female physical beings on earth. You've got the male and the female in the celestial picture, story. And then you have the male and female unification in the spiritual story. The Jesus story. Jesus story. Lost myself there, but there's a trinity, okay? Just a taste on what I'll be putting up in the my Patreon page, all about the Iliad and the Odyssey. One little example.
Oh, spoiler alert.
It's all going to blow your mind. They talk about the knee. The knee. They're referring to this here. It's the knee joint. That's where the sun is created. You get the negative pressure coming up off the Arctic. The sun is up there.
Pressure.
You have the field coming off from here,
You get
the EMF,
pressure.
over to here. It creates the knee, and the sun's created right there at the joint. It's all explained in the Iliad, the Odyssey. Something else.
It's
when you're
not.
here.
I thought he just said the
This
sun
is
was
mentioned in
created
the
on
Odyssey.
next to the black hole.
This is all mentioned in the Odyssey.
Well, that's a few
We've
minutes
seen,
ago.
we've
It's all
seen patterns
changed now.
like that. In the Americas. Now, when did they come up with that pattern? Well, that's all described in the Odyssey. That's all sitting in there. Describes in full detail what's going on in these gaps. You find in some philosophical stories, they refer to the word fat. Fat, replace fat with gap. Well, I probably wouldn't understand that.
What?
But anyway, that's what it is. And we've also seen alchemy pictures like this. There's a negative, positive above. That's the neutral. That's the earth. So, if you really want to delve into flat earth and have it all broken down in a philosophical way, quite a mind-blowing, divine way, actually, I'll be breaking it all down on my Patreon site. So if you want to help me out, donate to the cause, there you go. You get to find out all about flat earth, way more than
Didn't we
anybody
get
on
him
this
a
earth can explain to you.
subscription to the loony
There's only
bin farm?
one.
That'd help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one system. I'm going to explain it fully. I've even had a question by somebody. I told them this is a ring magnet. They came back with a good question. Is the ring magnet radially magnetized or actual rate magnetized? You'll learn all about that sooner or
Actual
later.
magnetized?
Sooner
What does
than
that
later, right?
Yeah, what is it?
It's
Is
something
it a
else
magnet or
that,
not a magnet?
No one's really clicked onto. A lot of things
Blimey.
physics haven't clicked onto. You're going to be blown away when I break it all down. I've blown myself away. That shouldn't be there. I don't know how that got there. Maybe I was meant to write Earth doesn't wobble. That might have been part of this Miko Kaku video coming up or
It
something.
doesn't wobble. What you write? You're rubbing out the truth there.
So that's all I basically wanted to highlight. Oh, and the fact
Yeah, we
previous
can't have
video
any
I
facts
mentioned
on the whiteboard. That's
Earth
that'd
isn't
be a no.
the Earth isn't the negative.
No.
It's the moving fresh water below Earth that creates the negative. Earth itself is the neutral. It's the flow of water. It's the flow of water.
Water.
So while I'm here, I'll
Water.
stand on that, shall I? Even the Great Pyramid in Giza. There's the pyramid. What's it built
Which
on?
one? There's a
A
few.
plinth.
Yeah.
And this all goes back to religion. That's all described in religion. There's flowing water in here.
What?
Goes up in here. And then you've got the positive atmosphere down into here.
Hey?
So he's making a claim that there's water.
And this is all
water
about,
to the area.
Quartz, piezoelectric effects, all that sort of stuff. And this is what Tesla was on about too. His
I'm lost.
Wade Clifford Tower, whatever it was
I
called.
think Lindsay is too.
This is basically
Yeah.
this tower here. And here's the ground. He had this massive circular metal chunk up here. This is supposed to be wood because it's insulating between the floor, the ground, and the atmosphere, which is positive. But he had flipping steel rods going right down very deep. And there was water down there. There's the negative. You connect that with that, you've got some sort of power supply going on. Right down in there, right down the water. This pyramid's all about the quartz, the piezoelectric, the conductivity of quartz, and the red rose granite. Rose granite. They probably use rose granite down here instead of, or maybe they once upon a time had copper. I don't know. Rose granite somehow connected down to the water here, or the rose granite certainly created the resonance within inside the pyramid. I've been in there and I sat there. There's only about 4 people in the chamber, and I closed my eyes and went Om, and I had to quickly open my eyes thinking there's like 1,000 people doing Om at the same time. And then I did the same in the sarcophagus. Same thing, blew me away.
The voices in your head,
Resonance.
Lindsay.
The sound is amplified. It's awesome. But this, the plinth, even this plinth thing here, it's in the Zodiac. That's the ultimate design in this Zodiac. Getting this plinth shaped thing going on with your signs. And you'll find the plinth is mentioned a lot in the Egyptian gods and goddesses. The plinth they talk about, they draw someone standing on a plinth, because it's all about the celestial movements, the body, where the stars were at the time to create the god, the gods. This is what all the ceremonies were all about. We've been told about in Egypt. You know, they're putting it down to some sort of physical life they had there.
Everywhere.
Maybe it was once, I don't know. But it's all been left for us. It's a code, message. We're trying to figure it out. I've figured it all out. No one's come to me to ask me anything, but I've figured it all out. So it's all philosophy, religion, astrophysics, astrology, astronomy. It's all the same thing. And all the Americans and all that.
No, it's not.
It's all connected.
two
It's all one big
completely
picture.
different things.
No one's put it all together. Even all the religions. I mean, all the religions, put them all together. All the truth is there. Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity. I haven't read the Quran yet, but got plenty of other stuff to read. Yeah, so there you go. Flat Earth. It's flat Earth for sure. So you can't debunk any of my information. Just try it. People come on my site and start
What?
asking these stupid, simple, basic questions that have been going around
Just
for
try
hundreds
it,
of years.
Jerry.
They've
Yeah,
been
okay.
answered a million times. You think I'm going to go there and answer all these simple questions that I've already talked about a dozen times before? I don't waste my time. They should be coming to us now, trying to prove us wrong. They can't. Yep, no, just wait. Wait till you see my information on the Patreon. I'm not releasing anything till I get the numbers up, but you'll all be blown away.
Well, I guess
Okay,
you'll never
call this
release
video,
anything, Lindsay.
I'll start off with just the moon shadow, eh? No? I don't know, figure that one out later. Okay, thanks for watching. Thumbs up. Don't forget to share. Cheers.
That made about as much sense as all these other videos.
Yeah.
Lots of words I knew, just some really random orders.
What's going on here? So what's that supposed to say at the back here? Lost if found. Please return to Demok.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to fill in the words. Letters.
Yeah.
He definitely needs a thesaurus.
He needs a dictionary too. He needs a spell checker in his brain.
I shouldn't really laugh at him for his poor spelling, you know.
Why not?
Stones in glass houses, but
You've probably
I
got
will
a
have.
good. You've probably got a good reason, Alan. Demok hasn't.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about Lindsay, but yeah, and Demok as well. Yeah, words, but the order has never been like that ever before in my entire experience.
Right. Now that you lost all your brains.
I thought there might have been a debate that we could have played a bit of, but I couldn't find one.
Toon's second debate was weird. It was a relatively polite flat earther he found on Facebook.
Yeah, that might have been
Who
the
was
one I was
just
watching a few minutes of that one.
Who just repeated all the usual.
Yeah, the usual, yeah.
Even got to the how could nothing come? Yeah, how could everything come from nothing and all the rest of it?
Mm.
The bit the religious flirs usually pull up, forgetting that go try reading the creation story in the Bible. Everything was created from nothing, and humans were created from dirt.
Oh, that was Scott Strickland, I think it was. Oh,
I think that was the one.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think he had any good arguments.
He didn't have anything.
Other than that, Fight the Flat Earth did one with... Who's that guy? Howard somebody.
Howard.
Oh, that guy. I can't stand him.
Yeah. I agree.
That's all there was.
So you got nothing, have you, Terry?
I have, but I lost it. It's here somewhere. I went past it too quick. Flat Earthers think a debate is a court of law. That's something to fight the Flat Earth did. Antof's done a few good ones. Oh, hold on. We'll just play first few minutes of the tune and Scott Strickland one, because so I did watch a bit of it by just jumping through it. And then we'll go to the quiz then.
Yep.
Before it's the one Mount Canigou where Dranism.
You have seen is you've seen boats that are not over the horizon that are.
Does this jump straight into it, doesn't it?
Hello, I'm MC Toon, and it's Tuesday night. That means we've got a debate. This is the second in a doubleheader. This one, if you saw the last one, this was Sam, who thought he was Jesus or Christ or something. This one will seem quite, I think, banal in comparison. This is Scott Strickland, who is just a regular vanilla flat earther. Welcome, Scott. How are you?
Oh shoot, I gotta get the right video up. Sorry, lost slow motion on the YouTube.
All right. Well,
thanks. Good. How are you?
I'm great. I think I've recovered my hit points after the last debate there. I don't know. You can't call it a debate. It was a little wacky, but anyway, Scott, would you like to I guess tell people about yourself or introduce yourself, whatever.
Just your typical flat earther, average Joe. Not an expert, but definitely, I don't know. I think I got a good grasp of the basics, and I've been debating people on the Facebook groups lately in the comments, and it's not looking. I'm always disappointed with the debates, and so I'm here to debate someone who can probably kick my ass. So it'll be fun.
Let it be said, let it be done. Brady Photography says Toon ignored my message. Brady, send it again. I don't. What message? I don't want to ignore anything from you. Anyway, so Facty, Flat Earth is not a debate. I agree, but we play like it is for fun.
Yeah. I'm expecting a warm welcome from the comment section now.
I typically recommend not following along, but if you want, you go ahead.
It's fun.
So, what was it that made you somehow think that the Earth was flat?
I think, well, the first one that got me was, I remember it was probably like a year ago. I was watching a documentary, and they were like zooming in on the boats, and I thought it was strange that that I've gone through my whole life and no one ever showed me that was possible,
Zooming in on the boats.
Or like that I always, I thought that when the boats go over the curvature, that's when they go. But you can zoom them, you can zoom in, and you can bring them.
But Scott, no boat has ever gone over the curvature and been obstructed bottom up and then zoomed back in. It's never happened. What you have seen is you've seen boats that are not over the horizon, that are visible, but then you zoom out and they're just too small to see. That's what you've seen. And then zoom and you can see them again because that's what zoom does. Is it makes small things look bigger.
Well,
but it's never been obstructed bottom up and then zoomed in and then not obstructed anymore. Right?
I mean, I guess that's possible.
Think about the videos that you saw. They zoomed out and then you couldn't see it because it was too small.
Yeah, because of perspective. Well, like,
It's just because it's too small.
I mean, people like, okay, so you say that, like, that's a typical thing you get a lot, and it's like, oh, you can't bring a boat back into zoom, that's a lie, but it's like, I mean, how much of the boat do you want to see? Because to me, it's like you can, I mean, I guess it depends on how far the boat is, but seems like you can.
No amount of zoom has ever changed how much of the boat is obstructed. And I've asked many times, and every time, on Facebook, wherever else, it's the same types of videos. It's boat is too small to see. Zoom in, now boat is big enough to see. Zoom out, too small to see. Zoom in, big enough to see. But never boat gets obstructed bottom up, right? Here's the boat, and then goes away, and you can't see it anymore because the horizon obstructed it. And then zoom in, it's still not there. Or it's part obstructed, zoom in, same amount is still there.
Okay, well, like, I mean, the point I was making, the reason it caught my attention was simply because of the fact that I never saw a video do that. Like, never in my life I saw a camera bring a boat back into the picture, right? That was I thought that was strange.
But you still have it.
But
you only saw something too small to be seen.
Well, all right. Well, let's forget about the boats. But like, okay. Let's say like
I forgot about boats.
Like it's like mountains and cities and stuff, or buildings where you can see too far, right?
Okay. Oh, the see too far
and
thing.
When you use the curvature calculator and get the distance and the height angle, and you use the curvature calculator that you guys like to use, we still see it.
All right, well, that's a great one then. So I can the curvature calculator I use is Walter Bislin Advanced Curve Calculator. So I said beforehand we said, hey, get your favorite see too far observation, right?
Yeah.
And all right, so I'm going to prepare the thing here. So do you have yours? Your what you think is the see too far example that we definitely need to pay attention to?
Well, the one I like, I'm sure you've seen it before. It's the one Mount Canigou, where Journalism, like 175 miles away, 1,000 feet up. That one, it's a popular one.
So let's get the details. I'll share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. So I've done this before, and I've never seen a flat earther actually do it right. I've only seen them use the wrong formula and ignore important things. So, little fixing on the to do on this. Hold on a sec. That's not right. Trying to make it so that people can see you. There you go. Okay. How far away is it?
It was 175, I believe.
175 miles?
Yeah.
Okay. And
they're 1,000 feet up.
No, it wasn't exactly 1,000 feet. It was the actual.
You typed in 1,000. Well, yeah. I mean, it was right around there.
All right. Well, then
Pretty
Let's get
sure he
the-
was
let's
actually
get the
1,000
right
meters
numbers.
up.
Pretty sure I mean, on the video, he typed in 1,000 exactly. I'm pretty sure. And it was on a
Accuracy. Who
church,
cares?
and the church
Yeah.
was right around
Oh,
1,000
They're
feet
only numbers.
elevation.
Yeah, they're only numbers.
Canada, aren't they?
church.
That's what he said.
There's-
To get the view
It's-
of Mount Canigou.
So there are
I-
lots of thousands of meters up looking at something that's thousands of meters tall.
I've
I
got
can play
one
the.
Yeah.
I got the video link.
from who?
No, I mean like just the YouTube video.
Yeah. Can you send it?
Let's see. That's all I went. Shoot. It's a full screen. There we go.
Or do you want to? All right, I'll stop sharing. You can share it. Just a second. Yeah, go ahead.
Trying to work out what Biggest Doggus's question is out in the chat. How do I tune a sine wave oscillator to 12
I'll grab
tone
it and I'll put it
chromatic
up.
scale?
And it's
What is the
from
formula
from
to set
Jaren.
frequency from
Yep.
A for
Yeah, I'm
40
sure
to-
you'll have a lot of things to say about him.
I mean,
but
I know
I
he's
really like
gonna-
that video.
I know he's going to get the math wrong because I've actually never seen a flat earther get the math right. So, all
I
right.
don't know about the question, but I'm probably building the sine wave generator to do it with.
There's Jaren
Yeah.
doing his thing. I'll share this to you so you can see it. I have it the audio muted. Is there music? There's music. I don't. Let's see.
So you'll see that coming up here shortly.
Oh, yeah. He's got some music going.
Yeah, I teach music.
It's Darth. It's not even Jaren, but I hear Jaren's voice in there.
It's his. Yeah, it's Jaren video.
What a combination. Dirt and
All
Jaren.
right, so I see right there he's not using a good calculator. He's using one that ignores refraction, pretends that it doesn't
Of
exist.
course.
Right?
Oh, that you're gonna use a calculator that
Of course, I'm going to use a calculator
uses a
that
fraction every single
properly
time.
that properly represents the globe. Yes, you have to, because otherwise you're just lying about it. Because there is refraction, it happens.
Okay, I mean, I guess if it calculates the density of the air and everything.
Well, I mean, you could measure it, but nobody ever measures it except for Epicor over Lake Balaton. But that didn't go well for them.
No.
Kind of backfired on them. So, all right, 1,000 feet eye height. So I'll put that in. And then he's going target distance 175. Yeah, see, he just goes target hidden and pretends that refraction doesn't exist. But over water, 0.5 is an appropriate estimation for it, right? And what's the target size?
The Mount Canigou, the peak,
Yes,
is like 9,000. I don't know.
9,000 feet.
Yeah, right around 9,000. I forgot the exact, but no, it's 9.
That certainly isn't
Ish.
a problem.
Sort of.
But let's see.
Of Canigou is 9,400.
Oh, there you go.
So you're talking about
9,400.
3,000 feet. These mountains should be the very tip right here.
All right, so he said 9,000. All right, so using the advanced Earth curve calculator and putting in a refraction of 0.5, which is in the middle estimation of the amount, hidden would be 4,800. So about half.
Refraction slices the feet in half. Is that what you're saying? Or even more than that?
No,
Wait,
if
because
if
without the
you pretend,
refraction,
if you pretend that there's no refraction, then 12,000
yeah,
feet.
12,000.
Yeah, but there is refraction. So unless you can show that there's no refraction between there. There you go.
But I mean,
4,000.
I mean,
So I'm not
that-
I'm not just saying refraction blindly, right? Refraction has been measured, right? So here's a whole page, mctoon.net/refraction, a whole page on the empirical measurements of the effects of refraction in the air. So they use, typically it's done as they call it the coefficient of refraction, and it gets a value that usually is lowercase k.
So, but okay, so if you put in that refraction, you're saying that over half of the mountain that you're seeing in the video is a mirage.
No, none of it's a mirage. I didn't say mirage. Mirage is reflection, typically, not just refraction. So when
I've looked at examples of like refraction, and it you can see it like bends and distorts, but it's obvious, like it's, I don't know.
Not always.
That sounds really far out there. Like how it's like, it does seem like it's a magical word to make the ball make sense.
It's not magical at all. It's empirically measured, and that's why I have this page here, mctoon.net/refraction. It's several different empirical measurements of refraction.
So,
and this one is very notable here. If you see this graph here, this is over water on a sunny day. And you see this big increase, just the left graph. This increase here is over time. So as you go later in the day towards sunset and past sunset, the amount of refraction greatly increases over water. And it peaks up here almost at a K of 18.
okay, but what you're claiming, so just try and understand. So you're saying that it's reflected, the light is being reflected?
No, refracted, bent.
Refracted, but it's not a mirage. It's what is it?
A mirage, typically when you're talking about mirages, you're talking about an actual reflection. And that happens when the index of refraction hits 1. It's called total internal reflection. And so that can happen when you have these boundary layers where there's distinct changes in temperature. Typically, it's temperature that happens at low elevation. And you can see that if you look at a road on a sunny day, right? Sunny makes it much more drastic. So you look at the road on a sunny day, you can see that thin layer, looks like a mirror right on top of the road. That is an extreme example of a mirage. And you know, the classic mirage is you know, the cartoon where you see an oasis across the sand. It looks like water. Right, because
I'm just having a hard time wrapping my mind around what, like, how can a mountain be there when it's not really there, you know?
Well, you look in a mirror and you see yourself when you're not actually
but
there.
it's also like there's
right?
like the other
light.
It's not just,
You can do things with light.
what about like, I mean, like I understand the basics of perspective and how, you know, the horizon will appear totally different on a, you know, when there's lots. Well, the horizon can be drastically different depending on the atmosphere. So I get that, but like objects being there that, like a whole freaking mountain, half of a mountain being there when it's actually behind the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, there's no problem with that at all. That's just
So there's a problem.
That's just normal physics.
I mean, like that's. I mean, I'm like.
Scott,
that just seems absolutely ridiculous.
How much physics have you studied?
It doesn't matter. This is just basic common sense. What you're telling me is half of that mountain is not
basic.
there.
This is basic physics, not basic common sense. How much physics have you studied, Scott?
No, I'm like I already told you I'm not an expert. I don't have any.
So your gut feel about it doesn't have any backing to it, right?
I'm just saying it seems like a ridiculous claim. Like absolutely.
That's your gut feel. Like I said, your gut feel doesn't have any backing to it.
But this is
also like
right
on the screen here. This is empirical evidence empirical measurements of the effects of refraction.
Okay. This is what I'd want to like. In order for me to believe that, I would have to see like, there would have to be like an experiment done where there's a, a curve between one point and the other, and they can refract 3,000 feet of image back to the viewer. Like that's what I would have to see in order to believe it. Like
nobody cares about your incredulity.
But that's like
this right here is empirical measurements of refraction. So I don't believe it. I have a particular need that needs to convince me. Doesn't matter. It's been done. The burden of evidence has been met, Scott. Right here, mctoon.net/refraction. Many different measurements of refraction.
Well, a math equation that can't be applied to an actual.
It's not a math equation. It's empirical measurements out in the field, measuring the effects of refraction. This is the result of people standing up a distance from each other with theodolites that are precision angle measuring devices. This isn't math. This is the result of real measurements. So hand waving saying, oh, the math. This isn't math. This is actually people that went and measured things.
Okay, well, what's this exact study you're talking about? Or is it this stuff that you've done yourself?
That's things that I've educated myself on. Right.
Well, so I'm just interested, science. I'm just saying for later on when I want to go look into it and I want to go, I'm not going to just shout nonsense and not listen. So
yeah. So myself, I have not done quantification of refraction.
Yeah, I don't mean to. I didn't mean to ask it like that. Like, oh, have you done this yourself? I don't mean to do that. I'm just saying, like, whatever you're looking at. Okay, I can see McToon.net refraction. I can go check it out and see later on and do my homework. So, but yeah,
and refraction is always present, and it's more lower down when you get closer to the ground. It's more. And when you're over water, it's even more than that. And when you're over water on a day where there's temperature extremes, like when it's been sunny, then that's when you get maximum refraction. So when you see a flat earther go and do some sort of measurement over water, when you see somebody do measurements like a laser experiment over water on a sunny day or in the evening of a sunny day, this peak is after sunset. You see this on the left side here? This peak is after sunset. The highest amount of refraction is after sunset. So when they do a laser test over water after sunset, it is intentional or not, it is using refraction to let you see things more easily than if over on the right side, for example, if it was an overcast day. But it's still there.
I'll be back.
One at the bottom of this particular graph on the right is 1, and at the top is 2, and the other graph, it goes from 0 to 18, so very drastic.
Yeah, I get. Okay, I can also see it as when it's a clear, just like we can see farther on a clear dry day, right? And
typically when it's not major refraction, like if it's overcast, you cannot see quite as far because the refraction effects are reduced.
Yeah, it's just interesting when one side is saying refraction and the other saying is perspective, and I can see how it can be seen both ways.
Yeah, well, refraction is empirically measured, and perspective is just things getting smaller with increasing distance. That's all that perspective is, and we can calculate it. It's covered in 8th grade math.
Yeah, well, I've also seen definite examples of the horizon being at drastically different levels depending on atmospheric conditions. Like it'll be really high or really low.
Exactly. And that is exactly the effects of refraction. So if the horizon moves at all, what is causing it? Refraction. If perspective, when you're not moving, doesn't cause something to move, refraction definitely does. Right? The Salton Sea is a classic example. If you remember that one, we see the horizon moving up and down over the course of the day. And that is due to refraction.
Or perspective.
Perspective doesn't make things change if you don't change. Perspective is just things get smaller with distance. That's it. That's all that perspective is. There's no magic to perspective. Something gets smaller, right? When it's close, it's big. When it's far, it's small. That's perspective.
But there are conditions where that, if the atmosphere is... No, okay. I see what you're saying. So we're going to go back and forth saying the same thing.
Yeah. This is the demonstration of perspective, right? It's this big, right? That's how big the cards are. But I move it back, it gets smaller. That's perspective. That's it. And the amount that it shrinks is calculatable with 8th grade math. It's just solving a triangle.
Yeah, it just seems like that refraction stuff is assuming curvature.
No,
I don't
like
know.
I said, it is empirically measured. It is not just math, and it is not assuming curvature. It is a quantification of the amount of the bending of the light ray over distance, based on atmospheric conditions.
If that's true, like, is there no way to replicate this on a smaller scale where you can see things that are blocked by an object due to refraction?
Sure.
Like, that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, Ranty did it. Before he became before he gave up flat Earth, Ranty did it himself in a tank. Ranty, former flat earther?
I don't know.
Okay, he used to be a flat earther and he's not anymore. And he actually set up a tank. So the classic test is to create a tank with sugar in it. And you saturate it with sugar, but at the bottom all the sugar is dissolved in the water, but as you get higher up there's less sugar dissolved in it, and it creates the same thing. You have an index of refraction gradient. So at the bottom the refraction gradient, or the index of refraction, is higher than at the top. And people have shown lasers through it and you can see it bend. So right in the middle you can see it would go over something. So
okay,
it's been done.
But you might like, do you understand, like, from someone that first time comparing the evidence of one side showing you like a literal mountain and then the other saying it's not really there?
Now,
you know how
so
one person would be like, well,
so
I'm going to
Scott,
go with the
you're kind of giving this, you're
mountain
giving
of
yourself
evidence.
away, Scott.
What?
You haven't done your own research. You haven't looked at both sides. It seems that you've only looked at the flat Earth videos.
I'm trying to that's like the thing. It's like when I go to look at the flat Earth, it's like the people that are debunking flat Earth, they're always like, there's most of the videos I've seen them purposely misrepresent it to make it look ridiculous. Like, that's pretty much every video you'll find on the top YouTube search. So it's just hard
to be honest, Scott. It is ridiculous. We enjoy a little chuckle at it.
Yeah. Well, I'm at the point where it's like the heliocentric model just sounds like I can't even separate it in my mind from like Star Trek and science fiction. It's just like, it's that out there now. But
why did you say Star Wars? I'm wearing the Star Wars shirt.
Yeah, I love Star Trek and Star Wars, but I'm watching it, I'm like, oh damn, I don't really.
Have you seen the newest Star Trek series? People in the chat, have you seen it? Strange New Worlds. I have enjoyed that one a lot.
Refraction. It would take a lot of homework to really understand that. I'd have to do my homework to really dive into refraction, because what I've seen, it's not what you claim it is at all. But like I said, I gotta look into it.
So note that there's a difference between a mirage and refraction. So if you see the Chicago skyline and the weatherman who says this is a mirage, he's actually wrong. That is not a mirage. That is more appropriately called just the effects of refraction. The most common mirages are upside down. You see it upside down, but there's called an inferior mirage. There's superior mirages as well, where it's double reflected.
So what about like a false sunset? So are you saying that's also refraction because it, when you get the water level out and it's actually and the horizon is actually higher than it appears?
I very rarely have seen a water level show the horizon be above the water level.
It's like, well, like when you see like the boats, it looks like the boats are floating in midair.
Oh yeah, those
But
are
then you get the water level out and it's actually the horizon's much higher.
that would be most likely a mirage, a superior mirage.
A mirage.
Yeah, especially where you see the boat, and then you don't. It looks like it's just sky underneath the boat, and then you see the horizon below that.
But you get the water level out, and it shows you where the horizon actually is. So how is that not? I'm having a hard time separating perspective from refraction.
None of that is perspective. Perspective is something getting smaller with more distance. This is perspective. Okay, that's it. Got smaller, got bigger. That's perspective. Refraction and reflection can cause
misunderstanding
all sorts of crazy things in high temperature variance conditions at low elevation. So if you want to see something without those, you need to get away from the water and get away from low elevation. Get higher.
But as soon as you do an experiment over land, it's a lot harder to claim that it's level,
It is. There's ways to do it. But you can get to a higher elevation and then measure, for example, the dip of the horizon from not really low, do it from 30 feet up or 90 feet up. Right? And do it on a day that's overcast. Because when it's overcast, you haven't had the sun warming the water, causing this temperature differential.
Okay, well that's an interesting topic to refraction versus perspective.
It's you still seem to think that perspective is something other than what it is. You've watched you gave yourself away. Flat earthers in YouTube videos constantly make claims about what perspective is, but it's not. It's just things getting smaller. That's it. That's all it is. Like I said, you can calculate it. There's a formula for it, the angular size formula, or you can just solve a triangle. Right? If you know how far you are from something, and if you know how high it is, you have side, you have the 90-degree angle, and then you have side angle, side. You can solve that triangle. Remember solving triangles? SAS, angle, side, angle,
the
side, side, side. Remember those? Angle, angle, side. And you can't solve angle, side, side because there's two solutions for it.
All right. I think, well, now we're talking. Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's just it's just interesting. I don't know. It's just there's so many examples out there, and it's just hard to wrap my mind around it all being refraction.
Okay. Now you linked to a video by Dearth, and you mentioned Jaren. So which one is the one you would maybe watch the most or had the most influence on you, or is it somebody else?
I really don't know. Actually, that's probably the only video I've ever seen by Jaren. Dearth, I've seen a few of his interviews, and I think he just has I wouldn't go to him for the expert opinion, but I think he has a good basic introduction to it.
Okay. So was it 200 proofs from Dubai?
Well, I don't think it's. I don't know. I feel like you're just trying to attack the source now.
No, people. I'm just trying to figure out who's your Papa Fleur.
Yeah, well, I've seen a few of your videos. I've seen how you go after the source and just, I feel like that's easy to do on both sides.
All right, so.
Oh, I'm just talking about just the evidence that's being presented on both sides. It doesn't really matter who it's
Okay.
who's presenting it.
Now, have you seen people talk about flights between Australia and South America?
A little bit. I've seen a little, just a little bit talking about emergency landings and some flight paths making sense on a flat Earth. And I've also seen the opposite. I've seen flight paths making sense on the globe, and so
now
yeah, I've heard both.
If you've watched especially the emergency landings one, the most common one is a flight from somewhere in Asia to LA, and they stopped in Alaska.
They're definitely going to go down the same
Flat
road
Earth
as all the
Banjo
normal
pulls out a Mercator projector.
arguments. Oh, we'll leave that there.
Yep.
We'll probably tick all the boxes through through this conversation. But his first one was perspective and
ones, wasn't he?
his first one was perspective and refraction. That's a new one on me.
He doesn't understand what refraction does. He doesn't really understand what perspective is.
And he's confused the two, mixes them together as the same thing.
All together, and seems to have no inclination to want to learn that stuff either. Oh, and he claims to be a music teacher, yet when Toon slipped in some music theory questions, we might well have not had a clue.
Okay.
I mean, Toon asked him something really simple, like whichever note is at 440 hertz, what do you have to do to the frequency to go an octave up or an octave down?
Well, maybe he didn't learn all that sort of stuff in music.
Yeah, but the claim was he taught music theory.
Yeah, if you're a music teacher, you should know that.
Yeah, and then he started going on about, no, 440 hertz isn't right. You want to use 432 hertz. 432 hertz instead. And it's like, music is just a theory. That was the other one.
What?
Yeah.
What?
He seemed to be very I don't know. What am I thinking of, Dora? What word do we need to insert there?
Toon asked a much simpler version of my question. I've not seen it. Okay.
He did indeed. Even I kind of knew that you have to double the frequency for an octave. Or halve it. Or at least I would have asked, is that doubling and halving? And as you all know, I would never earn money as a musician, would I? Or a vocalist.
If he was a music teacher.
I can't even fake it as a percussionist.
If he was a music teacher, Toon should have asked him what a hemi-demi-semi-quaver is. ready for a quiz?
Yep.
Oh, go on then if you insist.
We tried to drag it on as long as we could till Farmer got back, but probably be another few more minutes yet before he finishes his meeting.
So when was his meeting due to finish?
Well, how long's it been going for now? Yeah, it might be for another 15-20 minutes yet by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Depends who does all the talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, well. Let's do a quiz then. Share screen. Here we go. All right. Okay. Addressing the right person in the internal chat and the other chat.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Mixture of questions. Some you'll get quite easily. Others are a bit harder. So we'll see. Okay.
Yep.
Question 1. Start with a hard one. A Fresnel brom is a device that uses this phenomenon twice to induce a phase shift in polarized light. What is this phenomenon? Do you know what a Fresnel ROM is?
I've heard of Fresnel lens.
Okay. What is a Fresnel lens, Terry?
I don't know, I just remember hearing it.
Yeah. Fresnel lens is like a normal lens with all the extra glass in the middle cut out to flatten it, because the light doesn't change path through that glass in the middle, it only changes path at the boundary. So if you can get rid of all that glass in the middle, you can make the lens thinner, but it does much the same job. It introduces a little bit of distortion, but not refraction, Alan. No. Okay,
Yeah, I was
another
thinking
clue.
of one of those words.
A microscopy technique that uses this phenomenon induces fluorescence by means of an evanescent waves, which are attenuated when this phenomenon is frustrated. What is this phenomenon? Phase is set to ROM. Yeah. It's not diffraction, no. Fire at will. I'll give you another clue. Snell's window occurs underwater as a result of this phenomenon, which exists because refraction cannot bend light more than 90 degrees. What is this phenomenon? I feel Blue might have got this question. We blueless tonight, are we?
Yeah, I don't
Think
know where
so.
Blue is today.
Not coherence.
I have a nasty feeling these things are used as are in front of almost all digital camera sensors.
No. This phenomenon is used a lot in old viewfinders. Light past the critical angle bounces rather than refracts in what phenomenon seen in water glasses and swimming pools?
Yeah, that word.
Yeah.
That one.
That's the one. And we have Biggest Doggus, followed closely by Clive Wells with total internal reflection.
Oh, I didn't think of a 3-word answer.
Yeah, that is correct. It went off.
Because,
Good.
because good quality SLRs use a pentaprism
Prismatic lens. Yeah.
instead of using a pentamirror like you get
Yeah.
on cheap modern, like you get on consumer level cheap DSLRs these days.
Yeah. Because every reflection reduces the light intensity by about 4%. But total internal reflection gives you all that light, which is why optic fibres are a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, question 2. After one character's boat capsizes, He agrees to accept another character's offer of these two things under the condition that he is left alone. What are the two things?
The biggest dog is I can retire now after beating Clive to the answer. That's your life goals achievement.
Okay, another clue for this one. In a book written with only 50 words, a yellow-furred character offers the main character these two items: in a box and with a fox, and in a house and with a mouse. What are the two things? This is not a hard one.
Yes, it is.
Oh, you reckon? I reckon the Peanuts will get it. I'll give them a moment.
I kind of
Not
get
a goat and bow, no.
the idea that it might have been written by somebody I might recognise, but
Yeah, one character in a work titled for these two items claims, "I do not like them here or there, I do not like them anywhere." What are the two things? Yeah, Dora, unless you never had such English literature. Yeah. Sam I Am offers the unnamed main character what two strangely coloured title foods of a Dr. Seuss book?
yeah, Ozzie RNG is obviously knows what he's talking about.
Yes. Yes, Ozzie Snurger's got it right. He knows what he's on about. Yeah. It is, of course, green eggs and ham.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of Seuss.
Yeah.
Well, it's usually
They are
the
a bit
parents
weird,
that
aren't they?
usually got you the books or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think my parents ever really got them.
Okay, question 3. In 2011, a Russian mission failed to retrieve samples from one of these objects due to power issues. What are these objects? There's two of them. Two things you've got to name here.
Oh,
So that's not right, Alan.
correct.
Well, if it was more recent, somewhere it might have been tanks.
Yes, biggest doggers, the ham is also green. Makes you wonder why you'd want to eat it, hey? Yeah. Okay. Deep regolith on another of these objects means its craters are filled by settling dust. What are these two objects? They're not asteroids, no. You could kind of call them satellites, but yeah, where? Unusual orbital characteristics led Shklovsky to suggest that one of these objects was hollow. Which ones, Alan? What are their names? Not the black smoker. No. The Stickney crater dominates the terrain of one of these objects. Not the moons of Saturn, but they are the moons of somewhere, biggest doggers. Yeah, but that's not an acceptable answer.
That narrows
I
it
wouldn't be able
down.
to tell you
Yeah.
two of that planet, but
Low escape velocities make these objects ideal for colonisation efforts. That should limit the kind of planets that we're talking about, shouldn't it? Yeah, but what are their names, Alan?
no, I don't know the names of the moons.
Ah, you've been
I know
beaten.
that-
No.
I know two of them.
Yeah, you've been beaten by truth nerds out in the Peanuts. Yeah. Anna discovered which objects named for the twin Roman gods of fear and dread, the moons of Mars. It is indeed Deimos and Phobos. Fear and dread. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not that much of an astronomer. It's
Yeah.
Go on.
to know the names of the moon. Yeah, to know the names of the moons of Mars. I know a couple of the Jupiter ones. There's Io and Ganymede.
Yeah.
And Io, Ganymede. Damn. I've taken photographs of those four. I've taken photographs of the four you can see at about 10 mag. 10 to 12 magnification.
Okay, question 4. Despite not knowing Sanskrit, Richard Burton claimed to have translated this text alongside the perfumed garden, the Arab version of this text. What is this text? Okay, this text divides men and women into categories named for animals based on size, endurance, and temperament. What is this text? You are correct, Alan.
Yeah, I got it off the first clue.
Wow.
Yeah. And Doran Gu is correct as well out there. It is indeed the Kama Sutra. Yeah. This text suggests to embrace Dharma in old age and embrace Artha and the title concept in young and middle ages. This text by Vatsyayana is named for the Hindu god of love. Name this text, which contains a sex manual and a catalogue of sex positions. It is indeed the Kama Sutra. Question 5. Mach's principle connects these entities to the large-scale structure of the universe. What are these entities? Okay, another clue. A quantum form of these entities is split in two to avoid issues with the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. They're not black holes, no. I don't think there are any quantum forms of black holes yet.
All right. I did put that before you put up the
I know you did, Alan.
second clue, sorry.
Yeah. The derivative of angular velocity with respect to time crossed with position gives the Euler acceleration, a kind of fictitious force present in these entities. The Ten Commandments. Well, no. Not protons or electrons. A Galilean transformation changes between these entities using their relative velocity. Non-atomic nuclei, Alan. I'm giving the internal chat a chance. Examples of these entities which are not accelerating are their inertial kind. What are they?
There.
Not fictitious forces. Name these entities, the conditions in which physical systems are observed. And Clive Wells got it long ago out there. They are
The bloody frames of
reference
reference.
frames. Yeah, frames of reference or reference frames. Well done, Clive.
Bugger. I didn't think you'd go that simple.
Question 6. A fictional spy named Boniface was used to disguise the activities of this institution. What is this institution? not Station X. No. The all-female Wren's Corps served as support staff at this institution during World War II.
If I
I'm expecting Alan to get this one first. Gordon Welshman developed bombers for this institution.
Yeah. Paul, can I just say something?
Yeah?
Can I tell you something? That was Station X.
Oh, okay.
That's why I put Station X before I put the other answer.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Yep.
the actual institution's proper name.
Yeah. I think most people know it as that second one, which
Yeah.
John McMahon got first out there. No, Biggest Doggers actually got it right first. Yeah. It is Bletchley Park. Yeah. Yep. This institution succeeded its country's Room 40, which performed a similar function. This institution was made up of several huts where code breaking was performed. Named the home of the government code and cipher school where Alan Turing helped break the Enigma code, it was indeed Bletchley Park.
Yeah, you confused me there by telling me it wasn't Station X.
Yeah. Okay, question 7. Subsurface sampling of these objects uses pure copper devices to allow observations to distinguish them spectroscopically. What are these objects? Citizen scientists found 7 particles from one of these objects in 2006 as part of an American sample return mission, the first to go beyond the Earth's L1 point. What are these objects? Okay. The Stardust probe sampled compounds from the surface of these objects. What are these objects? Not electrons microscopes. You're right this time, Alan. And Thurston the second got it correctly right out there too. They are comets, yes. En route to 67 PCG, the Rosetta probe observed a second of these objects called Temple 1 as it was subjected to the equivalent of 5 tons of TNT by NASA's Deep Impact. Stellar wind can be inferred to exist by observing how material is pushed away from these objects. Yeah. Name these objects whose bright coma and tail are visible as they periodically pass Earth. They are comets.
This is where I should have pulled out my photo of Comet Neowise.
Question 8. Factories producing this metal account for 90% of emissions of the greenhouse gas tetrafluoromethane. What is this metal? Dome fragments. I like that. Ice wall sealant broken off. For nearly 200 years, Greenland supplied the world with this metal's fluoride, which was used to dissolve its other ores. What is the metal? That's correct, Alan. No, it's not lithium. And first peanut to get it right is the Crumpy Old Grunt. The Crumpy Old Gunt. It's aluminium. Yeah. The FAA states that only government employees can carry barometers on planes due to mercury's rapid amalgamation with this metal. Yeah, it pretty much destroys it. The American Chemical Society differs from IUPAC on how to refer to this metal. They call it aluminum. instead of the proper name, which is aluminium, right?
Yeah, they just those Americans just can't speak properly, can they?
No.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. An electrolytic method of smelting this metal was patented in the US and France nearly simultaneously. This group 13 metal makes up 1/12 of the Earth's crust by weight, but must be refined from bauxite via the Hall-Héroult process. Name this lightweight silvery metal used in soda cans. It is aluminium.
Or usually, or more usually, of course. Oh, when they mix the two metals together, word that just went out of my head.
Pewter.
No, what you call it when you mix two metals together?
Alloy.
Alloy. That's it. They're usually more usually alloys of aluminium, aren't they? That you find in actual use.
Yes. Yeah. Question 9. The Basel-based Fonds that owns the copyright on this text authorised a 2019 graphic novel adaptation by David Polonsky. What is this text? Robert Forreson's 1978 assertion that this book was a forgery led to France's Gayssot Act. It's not the Kama Sutra again, no. No. Shelley Winters donated the Oscar she won for a 1959 film adaptation of this book to a museum reopened in 2001 by Queen Beatrix. What is this book? No? Miep Gies saved this text from destruction. Not Hitler's diary, no. But it is someone's diary. Characters in this text include the Van Daan family and the author's sister Margot, who receives a summons to a work camp. What is this book? Yeah, you got it right, Alan, but I'm afraid you were beaten by Biggest Doggis out there. It's the Diary of Anne Frank. A definitive edition of this text restored passages excised by the author's father, Otto. Name this text addressed to Kitty, largely written in a secret annex by a Jewish girl during the Holocaust. It was the Diary of Anne Frank. And this apparently is the only known actual video of Anne Frank.
I'm surprised that would still be in copyright, seeing as copyright's usually like author's death plus 70 years.
Okay. Last question. The influence of this entity can be reduced by obtaining multiple lucky exposures of short duration and combining them in speckle-based techniques. What is this entity that has this influence? Not noise, no. Instruments can correct for low-order perturbations due to this entity using a segmented mirror that tips and tilts in response to incoming wavefront data in the primary application of adaptive optics. What is this entity? Women, no. That is correct, Alan. Predictions of this entity's transparency are found alongside cloud cover forecasts in clear sky charts. What is this entity? It's not jitter. And Crumpy Old Gunt has the correct answer. It's the atmosphere, along with Alan.
Oh.
This entity spreads out the images of objects during astronomical seeing, and its impact is minimal at high elevation observatories like Mauna Kea. The twinkling of stars is caused by what turbulent region separating ground-based telescopes from space? It is the atmosphere. And that was your quiz.
And farmers
And
made
was
it
that
just
good?
in time.
Oh, there
Well,
you go.
we
That makes a
prolonged
change. He's
we prolonged it for as long as we could with a bit of MC Tunes debate. And I thought,
No,
okay,
these-
we'll give you 15, 20 minutes, and
yeah, no, these meetings are usually quite brief, but no, this one and this particular job. I mean, what was that? That was 35 odd minutes. That's
Mm.
it's the handy thing with doing these meetings online. If you've all had to drive to somebody's office, you don't want to be there for 20 minutes and jump in the car and bugger off again. So meetings tend to get dragged out and prolonged. But when you're doing it online, you can come in, all say what you want to say, and then you're done.
and it depends
Yeah,
on
there
who
was a-
talks the most too.
Yeah, well, there was lots of points to cover today.
Yeah,
So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
So did you get a lot of this on the microphone today?
No. The only one who sounded a bit dodgy, his PC was playing up, so he had to come in on his phone. But he was still. No, I think the rest of them are professionally enough not to get. Can you please stop eating your mic? Oh, thanks, Biggest. Maybe it was Farmer's presence that made me dumb in previous quizzes. Yeah, I love you too. Honestly, the amount of grief I get in side chats when oh, never mind.
You're not here.
Well, when I do appear, because somebody said it was Jose's latest stream, whenever that was, a couple of days ago. I appeared, and then somebody said in the side chat, "Oh, here we go. Wait for everybody to start slacking farmers off." And I thought, I don't care.
At least you're popular.
No, I do get
Yeah.
comments from people who say they actually enjoyed listening to me. So bollocks to the rest of you.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh dear.
I don't know who won the quiz out in the peanuts. I think Biggest Doggers had a go. Had to come out
Biggest
of
Doggers.
Had to come out of
What?
retirement there because of beating Clive, and then
Has Dora got the naughty person role on MC Tunes?
Hey,
Dora has the naughty person role on MC Tunes Discord server.
oh, how'd you get that?
Usually by being somebody like PJC Net, but worse.
Oh, yeah. How did Dora get that? Oh, the key thing is small doses. Well, they keep holding these bloody meetings on the Wednesday afternoon.
Hey, farmers, there was one question you would have got, but Paul didn't like my first stab at it.
Oh, what
Ah.
what was that then?
He said my answer of Station X was incorrect. He
Station
wanted
X.
to say Bletchley Park.
Oh,
Park.
yes, of course. Yeah. I thought Station X. Why does that ring a bell? Yeah, Bletchley Park. Yeah, which
Yes.
is
Yeah, just over there.
that way.
Yeah.
Just trying to get me bearings. Where's Milton Keynes and Bletchley? Oh, yeah, it's that way.
Yeah, and of course he was actually asking for the name of the institution. So of course it is Station X.
Yeah.
That never mind.
No, well, I still haven't made it there. I mean, I've lived in this general area now for 18 years. Never made it to Bletchley Park. I've lived here for 6 years. Haven't been to the track.
Yeah. I really need to get myself to Bletchley Park. That is a bit of a thing.
Yeah.
I also ought to go to the RAF Comms Museum at RAF Henlow before it has to close.
They're actually asking over the radio for people to join the Australian Signals Corps as code breakers. They're looking for code breakers at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah. They're asking for people who can solve impossible problems.
What was it? If you've done 7 impossible things today, why not finish it off with dinner at the restaurant at the end of the universe or something? Oh, God, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Millie Ways.
I can't remember the exact quote. It's too long.
But how do you pay for the exorbitant prices at Millie Ways?
Well, you have to open up a bank account and put a pound or whatever in it now, so that by the time you get to the end of the universe, compound interest has made it enough to pay the bill. I think something like that.
Yeah, that's about how it works.
I need to read them again. I haven't read them in years.
I believe that works best if you go to the Big Bang Burger Bar.
Well, that's where you start. Yeah, you start at the Big Bang Burger Bar and then finish off at the restaurant at the end of the universe. Sounds like a good idea to me. I bet they do a good fry up there.
Oh, I bet it's a fry up to die for.
Oh, fry up. I shouldn't have said
Stop
that.
it.
Fry up.
Stop it.
I had scrambled eggs yesterday for breakfast, but it ain't the same.
I have a shop coming tonight. Apparently, it includes Cumberland sausage and eggs and bacon.
Well, there you go then. All of that and a bit of fried bread. You're well away.
I was going to say, and a tiger loaf.
Oh, so round Allen's then.
You're welcome.
Oh, I ain't driving all the way over there. So that I've done so much driving lately. It's actually nice to have a week or two.
I can come up, but you know,
I'd be in agony by the time I got there. It's actually been nice that sort of last week and this week not to have to keep trekking into London. And as far as I know, next week is just a trip to Kettering at the moment. But I mean, that's nothing. That's
no Dora, no spam. And no blood pudding either.
Oh no! Oh look, it's only 29 miles. That's nothing.
To Bletchley?
No, to where I'm going Monday to Kettering. Yeah, Bletchley's even. Oh Christ, that'd be even less. Hang on a minute. Bletchley Park. Oh, it's not a million miles away from where I do my shopping. I can get there in half an hour. It's 19 and a half miles. Straight down the A5. It's a stone's throw from the Astor that I go shopping in, because that's technically in Bletchley. Although at that point, Bletchley and Milton Keynes are sort of merging together.
Ah.
As these places tend to do. Ah, I forgot to have lunch. That's the problem.
Have lunch.
I haven't eaten since breakfast, and I thought, why is my stomach making funny noises? Oh yeah, it's nearly 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't had lunch yet. Okay. Oh well.
You've got to have brain food.
Biggest doggers. I got lost in Milton Keynes after a weekend festival. They've tried to lay it out logically, and the roads are called sort of V this and H that, but it's just an endless series of roundabouts. And yeah, if you don't know where you're going, you can get lost very quickly because they're not all straight either. They all tend to, it says, oh, this is V5, but V5 isn't straight. It's all over the place. And then you think, oh, there must be a roundabout over there and I can do a right. No. Oh, Christ. Yeah. The idea was there, but the execution was sadly lacking.
Is that why it takes so long to get anywhere over there?
Well, yeah, I mean, you think of how our road system has developed and what it was based on. I mean, the only proper straight roads we've still got, and I've got one, the A5. It's a Roman road. That's why it's straight. Everything else is,
Roman road, yeah.
Well, it is the A5 is if you look at it and it runs straight. I can't remember. Oh, was it Watling Street? I think it was called.
Yeah, Watling Street, A5.
Yeah, and it's one of the. It's certainly in this area. It's one of the straightest roads because it follows the route of the old Roman road.
No, sorry, the A1 was Watling Street. The A5's the Foss Way.
Foss. I can't remember which one it was.
What was that British series? That old British series that featured the old early England people governed by the Roman people.
Are you talking Chelmsford 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, that's it. Chelmsford 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the episode with the Roman roads.
I think they did a couple of series of that, and that was just so funny because most of those guys. Prior to that, there was a comedy series they did over here, and it used to be shown late at night on a Friday called "Who Dares Wins." Yeah. And you're trying to think of the guys' names, but that they'd worked before as a team, and so when they said, "Oh, they're doing this sort of piss take of the Romans and what have you," Chelmsford 1, 2, 3, yeah, that was
good.
Yeah, Rory, somebody or other, wasn't it? And the comedian.
Yeah, I can't remember their names now, but there was one where they were looking for a map of something and sort of said, "Oh, where did you get this map?" "Oh, I found it in a Greek porno room." The library. Yeah. And some did come up with a rain dance, and it actually worked. It was basically someone going, "Ah!" He was losing his temper and sort of just raging, and it made it rain. And yeah. That was a good series.
Yeah.
Just going back a bit now. When was that? That was Rory McGrath, Jimmy Mulville.
Yeah.
They were the two main. Yeah, there's only 13 episodes. Oh, look at that. From 88 to 90. Blimey.
Shit, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, we're not going to stay up all late, Ozzie and Ozzie. I'm just having a look to what I've got. I want to play Blue's video, which is the thumbnail we're using. I have to do a Simon Dan.
Yeah, he's put out, he puts out at least 2 a week, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Then he has his little short ones, and it's no good.
While Terry's looking and organising his videos.
Well, I've got them here ready to go. I'm just working out which ones to watch and which ones not to watch.
Any good at solving maths problems?
They're just numbers. I don't know what they mean.
Yeah. What you've got to do here is you've got to move 1 digit to make this correct. Any suggestions?
Move 1 digit.
Move 1 digit and 1 digit only to make this correct.
Correct.
Can the peanuts see it, or?
Yes, they can.
Yeah. See if the peanuts can get it. You'll kick yourself when you get the answer.
Yeah, that's not moving a digit, Doggers, if you do that. That's a matchstick one.
What?
If you take the 1 out of the plus sign, then it becomes a minus.
Yeah,
No,
it's not a
no,
1,
that's
is
not-
it?
No, it's not a
It's
1,
not
yeah.
moving a digit
It's not
either.
a matchstick
It's
problem.
No.
not moving it. Yeah. You don't change anything. You've just got to move something. Move one of the digits. I'll give you about a minute, then I'll give you the answer if no one can get it. No one can get it yet? No?
Must admit, it's not leaping out at me. I thought your brain's tired. I don't know.
Ah, okay. I must have stumped the peanuts on this one too. You want the answer? Yeah.
I think
come
you're.
on. So what we do is we select this 2 here. Right. And we just go like this. There you go.
Oh, of course. Fuck's sake. You git.
Yeah. Didn't think it took 10
That's
squared.
moving. That's moving 1 digit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll grant you. I didn't see that.
There you go.
So I had to read between the lines in that clue.
Clive got it out there.
Which one we go? Trying to just narrow it down. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 6 here. Well, I've got a witch that gets destroyed on TikTok from Everett.
That is funny. That's worth watching.
Okay, so we'll keep that. I've got Blues, Pete and Pete Cavendish. So
That's a long one.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. If we get rid of all these other ones, we'll just watch the Witsuit one, Blue, and
So that's 20 odd minutes long, I think, isn't it?
where are we? 23.
Yeah, I know it was over 20 minutes. I mean, it's a good video and worth watching, but yeah, it's
I'll have to delete one of the other ones. Just share me window, that way you guys can see. So I've got Facebook Science is Super Cringe, that's the Simons, that one. I did have an Anton one, that's 11 minutes. There's a 2-minute short. That's another 3-minute short. Yeah, there's the couple of minute short ones there.
yeah, it's what you want. If you're going to watch Blues, then yeah, you want some short ones because otherwise we'll be here a while.
Yeah. I don't think the Peanuts would mind if I diluted it down. Yeah, we're going to commit. Yeah, keep the short one.
You
Keep
could,
the
you
short
could,
one.
you could probably bunch the 2 short ones either side of Blue, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean that one about Witsit, that's hats off to the guy who does it. That's quite a good one.
Yeah, well, I've got 3 short ones, Blues and Simon Dan. Okay. Just to keep it a bit shorter tonight. Even though it's because it's a weekday and some people have to go to
Yeah.
bed or work. Or both.
I usually do go to bed before I go to work.
Well, you can go to work and then go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Wits are destroyed on TikTok. hate the music.
Isn't it sketchy to you that we don't have a live stream of the Earth in entirety?
Oh look, it's just a live stream of the Earth. I found out by looking it up on YouTube. Why didn't you?
Where's the picture of us just getting to see the Earth and the Moon and the Sun all in a picture?
Well, I guess you could say here is a picture of all three, but I'm sure that's not actually what you wanted, because your standards of sufficient evidence are way too high.
Why don't we get an eclipse from the outside?
Because then it wouldn't be an eclipse. An eclipse is only an eclipse from our perspective, like the moon comes in our line of sight with the sun. If we move our line of sight, it's no longer in line with the sun. So if I showed you a picture of an eclipse from space, it wouldn't look like an eclipse, it just looked like space.
Why don't we get to zoom in on the bottom of the globe and just see things upside down? Why can't I see a rocket re-enter the atmosphere?
Oh look, a video of the rocket re-entering the atmosphere. It's almost like you can just find these online.
Why do we not have a station with like high definition cameras and observatory set up on the moon already?
Because why would we? It's expensive and dangerous and doesn't come with any practical reasons of doing so.
Why did we not stay on the moon as the United States so we could have the most efficient tactical positioning in military history?
Yes, because taking days to get to anywhere on Earth is very tactical.
Why is it that we haven't been back there?
Well, we have. But even ignoring that, it comes back to my question. Why would we? We went, we saw it was there, we came home. But you want them to spend millions of dollars to go back just because a few nobodies online didn't believe them?
It's just a cult.
No, believing science is not a cult.
Thank you.
There you go. It never ceases to amaze me with these guys. Why can't we see this? Google it. It's there.
Oh, but that's all fake. It's all CGI.
Oh, obviously it has to be.
We didn't go there. Genetic fallacy. If I can't go there.
Exactly. It's a load of rubbish.
Okay, flat Earth navigation explained.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Really?
Don't hold your breath.
We're told that we're on the surface of a spinning globe,
Yeah.
and that globe is spinning around a sun which is shooting through the universe.
Yes.
Well, that is one way to say it.
If you're on the surface of the Earth, then the heavens would be like this ball, and this Earth would be inside of it. The heavens are a larger sphere, right? So, but here's the problem with that.
Are you ready?
Is what is closer to the truth is that the surface of the Earth is, say this is the ocean. Here's the North Pole, and here's Antarctica, 90 degrees south is the South Pole. Well, the South Pole isn't a single point.
He knows their secret.
The South Pole is a 78,000 mile perimeter at 90 degrees south longitude surrounding the continents, with the North Pole at the center and the North Star Polaris directly above that.
Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
And if you know anything about navigation, you'll know that we use polar coordinates to navigate. And what I mean by that is that there's a one-to-one relationship between the Earth and the stars at any given moment.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
There's a one-to-one relationship between heaven and earth. It's a, you know what I mean? It's a XYZ grid.
Whoa, hey, that is bullshit.
Right, and so what it is if you take the surface of the Earth and the map of the stars above it, and you wrap that around a globe, then the surface of the Earth and the stars above it no longer have a one-to-one relationship.
Whatever you say, Jack.
Because there's a conical
You're the master race.
relationship, because what you now have is the star sphere is this size and the Earth sphere is this size.
Who gives a fuck? I certainly don't.
And that means that for each star above our head, as huge as it might be, it is just a tiny speck on the Earth, and then it comes to a 0 point in gravity at the center of the Earth where all points meet.
Don't babble. Babble, sir? I'm not aware that I ever babble, sir.
Flat out, there is no way that we live on a curved surface.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm really sorry.
Oh dear. Poor old South Pole. That gets so much stick.
But it's all the South Pole. And we only see Polaris.
Do you see Polaris?
I don't believe there's a Polaris because I haven't seen it.
Well, there you go. And it's also strange that every couple of years they have this sailing race around Antarctica. But they don't sail 70-odd thousand miles around Antarctica. Funny that, eh?
Well, they go clockwise, but they don't turn left all the time. Why are they turning right?
Yeah, well, yeah, quite.
Looks like these are just getting played in order of tabs. Alright, ready for Blues Pete and Cavendish.
Yay!
This
Peter and Pete. Oh,
this
God.
is going to be interesting.
Guess I better put my distance glasses on so I can push myself back from the desk and from the monitor.
Yeah, we haven't got Blue here to give us his usual.
I don't have oven gloves, but I can grab the pillows off the bed if absolutely necessary.
Blue's around. I just don't know where he is. He's not hiding anywhere, is he?
I haven't seen him in the chat.
I know where he is. I'll give you a guess where he is.
Hang on, let me just see if my guess is right.
I'm going to message him.
Oh, yeah, I thought so. What's he doing over there? Who's he arguing with?
No, I'd have to listen in on it. Listen in over there. I can go over there and listen in.
He's not in some sort of He's not talking to somebody who likes doxing, is he?
No, I don't think
well,
so.
if I mute us.
And assuming that they're traveling at 1,000 miles an hour.
I mean, you're trying really hard not to just be like, hey, this mechanical gyro compass and this mechanical gyroscope, they go around, they do this thing, they have this precession. You're trying so hard not to agree that could
now I can
very
put the
well
voice
mean that
back
the
for
Earth
the
is just
peanuts so they
rotating.
can hear us as well.
I mean, the most sensible conclusion that you can come to based on our observations is that we're on a rotating planet. Everything else has no explanation for it. We can't explain why the sun would track in a circuit above the earth, or why it stays up there, and how the moon stays up there, and how these things work. The most sensible conclusion you can come to is that we're on a rotating planet.
Oh, he just DM'd.
Okay, so how about, I could be wrong here, if the Earth is rotating at 1,000 miles an hour in a westward direction, maybe we can get an order? Is that more sensible, maybe? I don't know.
No, no, it's not.
He says where?
Nothing you say is ever sensible. Ever.
I said, we're playing your video, and Blue goes, where? And I said, on my stream.
Where'd you bloody thing?
Oh, they've gone quiet down there.
I don't know how you're going to judge the speed of something by its height, or unless you have its height or something like that. You gotta have some kind of a reference.
He just
to use
dropped.
your
He
numbers
just
by.
dropped from over there.
You're going to have to make some assumptions there, I think.
I'll disconnect now.
It'll be over in a minute then.
You reckon? Yeah, there he is. We can chastise him now. Dora says, "Do you stream on Wednesdays?" never noticed.
Wow.
Oh,
Sometimes.
I wonder who this could be. Peanuts? I'll just stop sharing for a sec.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, look who it is.
Hello.
Hello, Blue. Fancy meeting you here.
Yeah.
Top of the morning to you.
Hey.
Sorry, guys. I had to tell you, I had to go to the doctor with Mrs. Blue this morning, so just got back. What's happening?
And your first port of call was Jem's Discord server.
We've been down in Jem's listening for the last few minutes.
Yeah, if you want to know the truth, I forgot what damn day it was.
No, that's
that's better than telling us that you weren't in Gems.
Oh no, I was in Gems, all right. Yeah, no
he
doubt
just
about
forgot that it was Wednesday.
I just forgot it was damn Wednesday.
No, we
Very
listened in for a little while, but I thought, no, doesn't sound like we're going to get anything out of that one. Whoever was being wrong.
I'm talking dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Dora says she isn't pregnant again.
What?
Mrs. Blue.
What?
That's right. That's the plus. The good news.
Oh dear. Dora.
Oh well.
For some reason, I'm unsubscribed from your channel, Terry. I don't know what happened.
What did you do?
I don't know. I was unsubbed. I resubbed. Okay.
YouTube does that sometimes.
I'm all
Just
good now.
randomly unsubs you from channels, and then you don't get notifications. And
that's one reason that I didn't show up. I think
You didn't get the notification.
there's no notification sitting there. I didn't realize this until I started to pull up the YouTube, and then I couldn't find you. Shit. Oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Something has gone wrong. So did you watch the Pete and Peter or Peter Pete?
We're about to.
Well, we're
Oh, you
just
should
about
mention
to.
that.
Okay.
You turned up just in
That's,
time.
Oh, perfect.
You missed out on the quiz, though.
Oh. Too bad. I probably didn't know any answers anyway, so.
I think you might have.
Oh, you may have known the odd one. So, do we need to have any forewarning of any description for this, Blue, before we play?
I think pretty much everybody knows what Peter and Pete are up to. So just in case, I mean, do push those monitors back out of the way. Remove your eyeglasses. Face palming with those on can be quite painful.
I see a bloody thing now.
Yeah.
I'll put them back on.
Oh, I don't know. Just go for it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, even if you throw an object upwards, it will accelerate upwards.
Yeah, I know.
Until it slows down.
Yeah.
So,
What?
Have it both ways.
But
I don't know
when
how
you,
that
when
happens.
you throw an object upwards, it's acting against its own mass.
When you throw a ball up in the air, it's accelerating upward.
Yeah.
It's acting against its own mass. Please tell me you two didn't just say that.
Yeah.
May as well get a little of the dumb fuckery out of the way right off the bat. Well, hello everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to Blue Marble Science. Peter and Pete claim they're exploring scientific claims and exposing reality. I'll tell you what we'll do today. We'll explore Peter and Pete and expose what they're doing. Now, these two guys deny gravity. They claim it doesn't exist, and they claim the only reason a Cavendish torsion balance moves is because of heat differential. This is going to be fun.
We got a comment on the video. We got.
I don't need this.
I don't need this. I don't need this, man.
Yeah, it was a Globie.
He's a Globie. He's a fucked up individual. Of course, he's got mental health problems. Anyway, but with regards to the Cavendish experiment, he writes, or she writes, you acknowledge that the results see an attractive force between any types of masses. Therefore, don't you think it's too big a coincidence that if you throw an object up in the air, it always accelerates towards the huge mass below it, the Earth, given that you don't think it proves a gravitational force? Well, even if you throw an object upwards, it will accelerate upwards.
Yeah, I know.
Until it slows down.
Yeah.
So, you can't have it both ways.
So when you throw an object upwards, it's acting against its own mass.
Oh my God. When you throw an object upward, from the instant it leaves your hand, it is accelerating downward at a rate of 9.81 meters per second squared. It's acting against its own mass? That's just word salad. I have no idea what that even means.
Absolutely, of course, yeah. But anyway, now, agreeing there exists an attraction between masses does not prove its gravitational attraction at all. That's just a hypothesis. Cavendish recognised in his paper that a heat differential caused the attraction.
Your concept that heat or temperature somehow or the other can be the direct cause of the torsion balance moving fails immediately, and this is why. For the torsion balance to move, you have to apply a force to it. Neither heat nor temperature are forces. Now, you're using heat and temperature interchangeably, and technically that's really not right. Let me explain it to you. Heat is the amount of thermal energy that is transferred from a hotter system to a colder system if they're in contact with each other. Temperature, on the other hand, is simply a measure of the average kinetic energy of the atoms or molecules in a system. If two or more objects are at the same temperature, they're said to be in thermal equilibrium. And objects in thermal equilibrium at the same temperature do not transfer any heat. As we'll see later, a temperature differential can cause some circulating air currents that impart a force on the balance and cause it to move, but that is a transient condition we'll get into in more detail.
So on one hand, there's a heat differential, causes objects to laterally move towards each other, or there's this insane idea that gravity is the cause.
I like how Marcel on the side there.
Gravity attempts to explain falling objects, not lateral motion.
Hold on there, numpty. Newtonian gravity describes the apparent attraction between masses. You've seen this formula at least 100 times. The apparent force of attraction is big G times the product of the masses divided by the square of the distance between their centers. Falling is a good example. That is why your dumbass is attracted to the Earth.
It's likely that a heat differential is the cause for lateral motion observed in the Cavendish experiment. That's our view.
Yeah.
And I still think we hold.
Yeah, we'll
hold that.
Yeah, you come on our channel every now and again to defend your shit science. You've got mental health problems.
Of course. So James Smith also, well, you know, where are they coming out from? They're coming out of coffins.
He says, have you read Cavendish's own reports?
Yeah, now let's...
Yeah, hold on. No. So we put, yes, that's where we got the information from. Cavendish also used the mass of water as a constant when calculating the mass of the Earth. And we all know the Earth isn't entirely made of water.
Cavendish related the density of Earth to the density of water. It's what we call specific gravity. I suppose he could have related the density of Earth to the density of petunias if he had wanted to, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. Just use water. That's what we always use.
Absolutely, of course.
So I don't need this, says.
I'd like to see what Cavendish said about the temperature difference. I think there's a bit more context to this. I mean, it is quite a bold claim to say that for all the thousands of times this experiment has been carried out, every single time, one weight has happened to be warmer than the other, resulting in an attractive force, even though that's not the overall conclusion of the experiment. But one thing I would like to say, and that is, you'll always find one object is bigger than the other.
Absolutely, always.
The one object is always bigger than the other.
And if one object is bigger than the other, it's going to have a different heat signature.
You know, there's a reason for that, and it's simply a practical limit that you run into. With my torsion balance, the balance had a total of about 1.5 kilograms of mass hanging on it. And that had the torsion wire that I was using stressed to about 70% of its ultimate tensile strength. If I had tried to use the 44.6 kilograms of the large masses, I would have overstressed that wire 20 times its tensile limit. So that's the practical limitation. There's no other reason.
Absolutely, of course. It's going to have a different heat signature. Of course. It's going to retain heat within its structure.
Now see, we're going to have a problem with the idea of thermal equilibrium. So let's see if we can go through this very quickly. Let's imagine we've got a thermodynamic system that is isolated, indicated by that blue box I've drawn there on the screen. And there is air inside the box that is at a temperature we'll call T1, and then I have two masses in there. Mass M1 is a large mass, M2 is a smaller one. M1's temperature is T2, M2's temperature is T3. Now when we start, the temperature of mass 1 is exactly equal to the temperature of mass 2. So T2 equals T3, but they're both less than the temperature of the air, T1. By the laws of thermodynamics, heat will be transferred from the air, which is at a higher temperature, to both of those masses. And it will look like this over time. Initially, the temperature of the smaller mass will increase at a higher rate than the temperature of the larger mass. So for a time period, temperature T2 will be less than temperature T3. But eventually the system comes into thermal equilibrium, where all three of the temperatures are equal. The temperature of the air has decreased, but the temperature of both of the masses has increased. A lot of people get confused by this. They think their countertop is colder than the cabinet that the countertop is sitting on, because that's the way it feels to you. But that's not really true. The temperature of the countertop, if you measure it, is exactly the same temperature as the wooden cabinet it's sitting on. The countertop only feels colder because it is better at taking heat away from your hand. Now the bottom line is this: in a system like I just described, unless you are putting heat into the system somehow, eventually everything in that system will equalize at the same temperature. And that's the condition we call thermal equilibrium.
More than a smaller object.
Yeah.
That's the point. Like, don't you think someone would have picked
it's your knee.
Oh, right, sorry. So I don't need this again, you know.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to read that comment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Anyway, Blue Marble Science jumps in.
Oh, Blue Marble Science, yeah.
Can you get the mouse and get up OBS? Because I'm thinking that the
what's that?
Get up OBS.
That's
no,
fine.
it's fine. Yeah,
that's fine. One thing.
Blue Marble jumps in.
We need to get Cavendish's paper up as well.
Well, it's on the. Well, go on then. It's on the bookmark, isn't it?
Is it?
While these guys are fumbling around looking for references or whatever, let me explain what all the hubbub is about. This is a Cavendish torsion balance. It's very, very simple. We take a couple of small masses and we suspend them from a torsion element like a wire. And then when we move two larger masses close to the small ones, the masses attract each other. That causes the torsion bar to twist. That develops a torque in the wire, and we can measure the amount of torque and determine the force of attraction. It's just that simple. But Cavendish noticed something funny happening at times. Not all the time, but occasionally something strange would occur. And it went like this. There you see the case around the torsion balance. That's that blue line. And you see the small masses, that would be the yellow ball there in the center. And Cavendish found out that when he moved the large mass, the big blue ball, close to the case, initially the torsion balance would deflect just like it should. But over a period of time, if he watched it, the balance would begin to move a little bit more. And he wondered what was up with that, and so he did a lot of tests to try to rule out things like magnetism. And he found that magnetism was not having any effect on it. So he started wondering about thermal effects over time. So what he did was intentionally heat up the ball and move that into close proximity to the case, like always. And sure enough, initially, he could see the balance move to a new position, just as it should. But now, over time, the side of the case close to that large mass itself would heat up. Now that heats the air up inside the case, and you get rising warm air, which forces a descending column of air on the opposite side. And that pushes the balance a little closer to the large mass, as you see depicted here. Cavendish confirmed this thermal effect by cooling down the large masses. And now when he put a cooler large mass next to the cabinet, the initial balance movement was just as predicted, but again over time, this time, the side of the case close to the large mass would cool off. That causes a descending column of air on that side and a rising column on the other side, and that has the effect of pushing the torsion balance the opposite direction. So what do you do about that? Well, a couple of things. First of all, as long as everything is in thermal equilibrium, that is, as long as the large mass is at the same temperature as the case and the small mass, we don't have any issues. But another thing that you can do is simply take the measurements as quickly as you can after you move those large masses into position. That's what Cavendish did. It takes time for that cabinet to change temperature. Wood is not that great a thermal conductor. I addressed this issue in two ways. First of all, I ensured that everything was in thermal equilibrium. The experiment was in an environment that never varied more than about a 0.5 degree centigrade. Secondly, just as Cavendish suggested, I took all the measurements as soon as I could following movement of those large masses. Peter and Pete have tried to make a big deal out of this. There's no big deal. There's nothing to see here. It's all been taken care of.
Well, go on, get it up.
I don't think so.
Blue Marble jumps in on the conversation.
Oh.
Yeah, James Smith gave you the link.
Oh, did he?
Calculating the density of the Earth.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, there you go.
Not that one.
There you go.
Yeah, it's this one here.
Experiments to determine the
it
density
wasn't
of
this
the
one.
Earth.
Oh,
Philosophical, view. Accept. View PDF. There you go. Preparing publication. Have a drink of coffee in the meantime while you're
Absolutely.
there it is. This is the original paper. But anyway.
Absolutely, of course. But let's get back.
Going back to the comment. It's very important. Blue Marble Science jumps in on the conversation. He says perhaps you need to reread
the paper.
Heat differential didn't cause the movement. As Cavendish clearly states, unevenly heating the case will result in circulating air currents inside the case. Those circulating air currents can cause movement in the balance. So, Blue Marble Science is accepting that circulating air currents that are produced as a cause of heat,
as a result
differential,
as a result of heat,
can cause movement in the balance. You're misrepresenting his contention and what can actually happen. But then again, this might be a bit too advanced for you guys.
I like it how these globy people think they're brainier.
Well, I know that objects thrown upwards don't accelerate upwards, and I know that objects don't assume whatever temperature they feel like just based on their size. You really only need the IQ of a claw hammer to know those things, but you two guys didn't seem to get it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Then you.
Yeah, I know,
and yet they've got fuck all to.
But anyway, so
anyway.
We asked him about where does it mention about air currents in Cavendish's paper, and he replies back to his, but page 497.
Page 497.
Here we go.
Yeah, his discussion goes on at page.
Well, actually, I referred you to page 491, which you conveniently skipped. This describes exactly what I just went through discussing. Let me quote from the last paragraph. The next thing which suggested itself to me was that possibly the effect might be owing to a difference of temperature between the weights in the case. For it is evident that if the weights were much warmer than the case, they would warm that side which was next to them and produce a current of air which would make the balls approach nearer to the weights. That's exactly what I just said.
You get less temperature, you cool things down, you'll get less motion.
And Cavendish even warmed the room overnight.
Oh no, yeah, sure.
To heat the air, but he still noticed the same effect.
Sure.
Because if you're heating the air, you're heating the objects.
Absolutely, of course, yeah. I mean,
and a small ball is going to be warmer than a larger ball.
Absolutely, of course, yeah.
This is an effect that can only be observed when the system is not in thermal equilibrium. The small mass temperature has nothing to do with the effect. It only happens when the large mass is warmer or cooler than the case itself. That's when we can generate circulating air currents that cause the balance to move. As long as the system is in thermal equilibrium, this effect is not observed. And in fact, I never saw it in my testing. But then again, my system always stayed in thermal equilibrium.
They just want their gravity. They're not interested in heat. No, that can't be it. We're just going to ignore that.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to design our experiment to take into account heat, to show to everyone that we've eliminated it from our experiment.
Yeah, they're literally brain dead, aren't they?
They're fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
I
mean, look at Blue Marble's reply 5 hours ago. Look, you really don't get it, do you? He describes the problem in the very first paragraph I gave. For it is evident that if the weights were much warmer than the case, they would warm that side which was next to them and produce a current of air which would make the balls approach nearer to the weights. It's air currents in the enclosure if you heat only one side and not the other, not the heat, the air currents. But the heat creates the air currents.
And you're carrying out your demonstration in air.
Yeah.
Now you're changing your story. Early on, you claimed that heat differential alone causes objects to be attracted to one another. Let me play that clip for you.
So on one hand, there's a heat differential, causes objects to laterally move towards each other. Or there's this insane idea that gravity is the cause.
Again, heat, the transfer of thermal energy, is not a force, nor is temperature. We could produce the effect that Cavendish witnessed the same way Cavendish did, by unevenly heating the case that contains the torsion balance, and that would produce an air current that would cause a displacement of the torsion balance. But that's easy to control. All you have to do is simply keep the system in thermal equilibrium. That's what I did. But you mentioned another interesting fact, and that is that I did it in air, not in a vacuum. My objective was never to try to improve on the measurement of the value of G. I simply wanted to know if I could duplicate the results that Cavendish obtained. Nothing more than that.
Exactly.
For more accurate measurements, this experiment has been done in a vacuum many, many times. The earliest one that I'm familiar with is this one. It's from the National Bureau of Standards, and they did this first in 1930 and then repeated it in 1942. This is their report from 1942. And on page 22, I quote, "The vacuum used in the pendulum case was always less than 0.5 millimeter of mercury. Experiments were made with a molecular pump giving a much lower pressure, but it was found at pressures below 0.5 millimeter, the damping factor of the pendulum became constant, indicating that at such pressures, the air resistance was negligible compared to the internal friction of the filament." That means the torsion wire. I wonder how my results compare to these results. Let's see. In 1942, they obtained a value for the gravitational constant of 6.673 plus or minus 0.003 times 10 to the minus 8th centimeters cubed, gram to the minus 1, and that should be seconds to the minus 2. There's a typo there. Look at the next line down. My results were these. I measured an average value of 6.632 times 10 to the minus 11th, but my dimensions are different. My dimensions are in terms of kilograms and meters. That's a more classic way of stating the gravitational constant. How different is that? 6.673 divided by 6.632 is a difference of 0.62%. I don't think I had a temperature problem.
These guys are...
They got mental health problems.
They're fucked up. They're totally fucked up. If they can't see the flaws in their own experiment, their experimental
as
design,
long as the weights in the case are at the same temperature, there is no change in the balance.
But how are they going to check the weights are the same temperature when they're of different masses?
Yeah.
This is how I measured the temperature of the case, the weights, and the ambient air. And you know what? Every time I did that, all three temperatures were exactly the same. Well, I think that'll just about do it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to tickle all those little buttons down there. There's a link to the Patreon and the PayPal. I'll have that in the description as well. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next one.
I don't remember those two being quite so vitriolic.
I think
they always seem to be, you know, they'd poke fun at people, but not sort of calling them names like that. I admit I haven't watched them in a long time because why would you? But
well, I do my best. Yeah, I try not to do too much of that, but after listening to them, I thought, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, that's a new one I didn't know before. When you throw something up, it accelerates.
So
nobody else knew that either.
So if I took this eraser and threw it up, would it accelerate and smack against the ceiling?
It'd accelerate back towards you pretty quick.
But
oh, it didn't. Sorry. Throw something and it accelerates upwards. No, just oh God's teeth. I mean, the irony in that video was just, it was off the charts.
So there was no temperature Sorry, I lost my word. You had the temperature all set, the temperature of the room and everything all monitored and everything. I remember that from when you were doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, heat can't transfer if you don't have a difference in temperature. It just doesn't.
And I knew a smaller object heated up quicker than a bigger object, but eventually they do reach an equilibrium.
Right. Well, when I did it, that thing sat out there within a half degree C or so, constantly for what, 6 months? I think that's long enough to achieve thermal equilibrium.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously.
Yeah.
It was a real concern for Cavendish, but think about it. When he did it in 1797. There was no HVAC equipment around.
Nope.
He was at the mercy of the elements. And he was particularly concerned about that. That's the reason he built that very substantial shed or whatever you want to call it. Hoping that he could
build it
maintain
out
a
of
more or less
stone,
constant temperature.
Did he build it out of stone or timber? Does it mention?
I don't know.
Doesn't mention.
I really don't know.
No,
well, that's the reason why he wanted to stay outside, never open the door if he could avoid it.
Yeah.
As long as he kept the door closed and it was fairly well sealed up, then you didn't see any. The inside of a thing like that will sort of track the average temperature, the average ambient temperature.
Tiny Captain, you get different weight when you have different mass of the same material? Who knew?
Just seeing if there's anywhere that actually says what you built it out of.
If I tip half my coffee out, it instantly becomes cooler. Huh?
Well, seriously, people do get the idea that things are at different temperatures because of the way they feel, but that's just a sensation that's created by the fact that something massive like a granite countertop is really good at sinking heat away from your fingertips. So it feels cool. But it's exactly the same temperature as everything else in the damn room, unless you've got a heat source somewhere.
Isn't that how those little plates work that you see? I've seen people putting an ice cube on it and it melts really quickly, or depending on what material it is.
Not sure what you're talking about, Terry.
I've seen videos where you get a certain material, then you put an ice cube on it, and it'll either melt quickly or it won't melt quickly, depending on what the material is.
Well, a real simple experiment you can do is take 2 ice cubes about the same size, set one of them on a folded up kitchen towel on top of the countertop, and set the other one right on the countertop and see what happens. You'll find out pretty quickly that the one sitting on that countertop melts a lot faster than the one sitting on a nice towel. Right? I'll bet there's a reason for that.
Yeah. As far as your perception of temperature goes, that can't really be trusted much either. Because if you do the simple experiment of having 3 glasses of water, one at 0, like water with ice in it, one about as hot as you can stand, like about 50, and one at about 20, so in between the other two. You stick one finger on your left hand in the ice water, you stick one finger on your right hand into the hot water. You leave them there for 30 seconds or so. Take them out simultaneously and put them both in the middle glass. And one feels cold and the other one feels hot.
Yeah, and it's backwards of what you think it'll be too.
Yeah.
The one that was in the hot water is now going to feel colder than the one that was in the cold water.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just the way we go about perceiving temperature.
Yep. But the flat earthers say we can trust our senses, right?
Yeah, trust your senses.
About the time pigs fly, you can trust your senses.
Yeah, that's right. It's about as ironic as Barry Manilow singing "I Write the Songs."
Yeah. I know a bloke who writes the songs.
Are you ready for a Simon quickie?
Yep.
Did Columbus actually discover America?
Spoiler alert.
Well, I know people before that don't get mentioned very often.
I believe we had chats about this at one point.
Sure, the people who already lived there would sort of claim that they'd discovered it.
Well, yeah. How about Western Europeans that have found it?
Yeah.
I bet he rediscovered it.
Yeah. I don't think he ever made it to the mainland, did he? He only made it to the Caribbean, which technically are part of the Americas, of course, but...
Yeah.
Can I press play now, Alan?
Press play.
Discover America. Why is Christopher Columbus credited with the discovery of America, and why do so many people think he did it? There are so many things about Columbus which aren't true, it's quite simply staggering. For starters, he wasn't even technically Italian. He was born near Genoa in 1451, yes, but Italy didn't even exist as a country until 1861. Now, Columbus took 4 trips across the Atlantic, initially to find a route to what he thought was going to be Asia. He didn't want to have to sail around the massive African continent. After a deal with the Spanish rulers in which he could keep 10% of any riches he found, Columbus first set sail in 1492. However, he did not discover America. The whole continent was already populated, of course. But he did stumble upon one of the islands of the Bahamas and spent the next few months going around the Caribbean looking for treasure. He also set up a small settlement and disappointingly enslaved many of the indigenous population. Despite another 3 voyages across the Atlantic, Columbus still didn't set foot on the continent of North America. The furthest he got was the Central American country of Panama. So who from the European people discovered North America first, if not Columbus? Well, for that, we turn to our old non-horned helmet friends, the Vikings. It is thought that the Viking explorer Leif Erikson landed on the North American continent, specifically eastern Canada, in the 11th century. In terms of the first European to set foot on what is now US soil, we turn to the voyage of the Spaniard Juan Ponce de Leon, who landed in Florida in 1513. There is no doubt that the voyages of Christopher Columbus shaped the era of exploration that followed. But he did not discover the North American mainland. I've been Simon Dan, this has been another Misconception Mini, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe here, definitely click that one, 100% click that one, and then more videos there. Click that one as well if you want. They're there, so you may as well click them. That one's quite good, but equally that one too.
Blah, blah, de blah.
I wonder how many other things that are being taught in history that are not quite true or correct.
Yeah, well, in the Caribbean are the West Indies. Why do you think they called them the West Indies?
Because they thought it was India.
They thought, and people say, didn't know the Earth was round. Oh no, they knew the Earth was round. They just got the size of it wrong. Columbus didn't realise that there was another landmass in the way.
That was even
what was that? Oh.
It was even harder to get around than bloody Africa was.
Exactly, yeah.
My wife has gone to the West Indies.
Jamaica?
No, she went of her own accord.
Yeah.
I can't believe we had to do that.
Yeah.
I was fighting the urge, but I thought, no, he set it up, you know.
Well, no, I think you set it up.
Don't you blame me? No, not my fault. I'm not taking credit for that one. Oh,
No. You can have that one up.
Forgot I can open the window again. Now the dustmen are gone.
Yeah, but we got that beat going.
Got
the beat going.
Machine.
Feel the beat.
Oh, yeah.
Blue's got no idea what we're talking about for that.
He's going to stop soon. It's 10 to 4, so he can't last much longer because
Yeah.
I'm sure yesterday it was either 4 or half 4 when he packed it in, but bloody day, you know.
Paul
about
Farmer's got a story.
300 or 400 yards that way is a building site, and I can only assume that they're pole driving. He was doing it on Monday, he was doing it on yesterday, and he's doing it right now. Boom, 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 all day. Drive me bonkers.
You're going to go to bed tonight with this thumping in your head.
That's all right. I'll stick on some heavy metal and blast them through my headphones before I go to bed. Yeah, just to... Oh.
It's like a song that gets stuck in your head.
You just start humming "Another One Bites the Dust" and you'll be in business.
Yeah.
It's about that. It's about that speed. Yes.
What's Tiny Captain saying? Well, I heard that they say in London that the people from the island I live
set London on fire in
1666 out of revenge. Cannot confirm.
They're just trying to kill off the plague, weren't they?
I'll finish with Simon. Facebook science is super cringe.
Oh yes.
What's a four-letter P word?
And pause.
That's not 4 letters.
PAWS.
Oh yeah. A different pause.
Today is the 10th edition of Facebook Science, and I've decided, for the moment at least, it will be the last. It was my hope that in this little mini-series I could highlight the ridiculousness of some of these Facebook posts, if only to raise awareness that they exist and not to trust them. I think I've done that. I'm sure I'll pick up the series again at some point in the future, but 10 seemed like such a nice round number, so I thought we'll end it with a bang. This is Facebook Science. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a huge thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is a VPN service that makes online Dan, and use my promo code SimonDan to get a whopping 83% off and 3 months extra free. Right, back to today's video where we are for the final time highlighting the absurdity of Facebook Science posts in order to raise awareness that these posts are out there and that they can be corrected. And we start with this beauty. A ball always has two sides, the side you see and the side you do not see. So, why does the Google Earth ball have 3 sides? Maybe it is because the globe does not exist, because if it really existed it would be very simple to make an accurate representation. The thing is, the Earth is a 3D shape, a sphere, and that can be represented in a variety of different ways, just like Google have represented the Earth in this picture. This poster clearly didn't pass 8-year-old maths. Next please, depiction of Egyptian sea voyages in Australia. the Gosford Glyphs near Queensland. So there is absolutely no way that the indigenous people of Australia made these drawings then. The Egyptians absolutely did not travel to Australia. Next, a little science lesson for the hashtag idiots at the Global Warming Conference. Iceberg, ocean. Iceberg melts, ocean. Ocean level remains the same. Yes, yes, very good. Except the Antarctic ice sheet is not on water, is it? It's on land. 5.3 million square miles of ice, up to 3 miles thick. If the entirety of that continent melted, the sea level would rise by up to 65 metres. Moving on, please. Titanitis is parasites. Garlic cloves eat 3 cloves a day for a week, or organic bear or wild garlic tincture. Take about 3 tablespoons a day for a week or until it goes. Also get your ears suctioned after to get all dead parasites out. There was a man on here that I cured of this. 5G is also responsible. Had similar symptoms after they sprayed the skies. Resonance. So what is it causing tinnitus then? Because we don't really get an answer, do we? 5G not getting away with it either there. Funny. Next, please. Almost without exception, every single person I know who was chronically ill and is now healthy began healing when they stopped listening to allopathic doctors. The healthiest people I know are on 0 pharmaceuticals, rarely if ever see doctors and subscribe to natural health. Well, people on 0 pharmaceuticals generally are healthy, aren't they? Because they don't need any pharmaceuticals. And what about all the people in the world whose lives have improved because of pharmaceuticals? What about those people? Next one, please. Clear sinus infections with a battery. I don't even know what to say to this one other than you can't cure sinus infections with a battery. Moving on, please. From conception to adulthood, the seed literally is the brain and spinal cord. Hashtag Seek Vision. No, the seed is literally the seed. Your brain and spinal cord developed whilst you're in the womb. How do you even get the confidence to post this one? Shocking. Next one, please. Shadows prove the table is curved and the lamp is 93 million miles away. Don't argue with the science. No, shadows here prove that a light can be close to objects and cast shadows. And before you flat earthers chime in and say that's the point, this won't work with 3 locations. It does on a globe. Next, please. You're not ready for this conversation because the conversation is nonsense, that's why. We have, of course, looked at this several times on this channel and there is no substance to it whatsoever. Moving on, good old theoretic science. Gravity is just a fairy tale with 0 experiments to prove its actual existence. How do mosquitoes fly if there's a strong force holding everything down? Why is it when you fill a balloon with 50% helium and 50% oxygen it still floats? Some forms of rain clouds are so heavy, if they landed on us we would die or get serious hurt. How do these clouds stay in the air if gravity pulls everything down? Seems like my approach is way more scientific and repeatable in experiments. You know, the laws of science, not theory. It's not a strong force, it's the weakest force in the universe. It's why mosquitoes can defy it just by flapping their tiny little wings. The balloon still floats because 50% helium and 50% oxygen is still probably lighter than air. The clouds are made of water droplets, which are so tiny they are actually suspended in the air. The weight of a cloud is its combined mass, not one big lump. Dear oh dear, this guy thought he had all the answers, didn't he? Next, please. Sun gazing with no lenses does wonders for me. Must not use lenses if you do it. How do you sun gaze? Anytime the sun breaks through, I look directly into it. You can do it for hours. I even posted a video on here/LinkedIn of me doing it. Humans actually photosynthesize through sunlight going into the eyes and reacting on the brain. Done it for years. Eyesight improves. I thought that blinds you. Chalk another one up to disinformation. Do not, under any circumstances, look directly into the sun. You will not photosynthesize and it will not heal you. This post is a good example of an extremely dangerous one. Moving on, please. Why has no one ever experimented with placing cement in the mouth of volcanoes considered active, as in the image, or heavy metal rocks? And when erupting, the lava will block, preventing deaths and accidents. Why has no one ever done this? Well, unless you want cement chunks the size of cars raining down on you, I suggest you don't try it. The pressure build-up in a volcano with cement blocking it would be way too high to contain it. Ridiculous notion. Next, please. Okay, British person, remind me who invented the English language? Oh, wait. I'm Australian, and even so, the British invented the language. Cool argument, Senator. Mind backing it up with a source? For what? It seems this American doesn't seem to know that England is indeed in Great Britain. Not really that embarrassing because he's American. Why should he know that? Still, maybe he shouldn't be so cocky. Moving on. You can't spell pandemic without dem. Is this a coincidence? Showing this tweet to every brilliant woman I know who worries she's underqualified to run for office. Love that reply, truly genius. Additionally, you can't spell reprobate without rep. Is that a coincidence? Just saying. Next please. Your phone was made in the USA. Canada. Canada is in the USA. Another geographical fail here. This time one they probably should have known about. Oh well, you can afford to pay everyone on the planet $1 billion. Elon Musk, 215.1 billion US dollars. Nobody. He can give 215 people $1 billion each. He can give everyone on the planet about $28 each. You're welcome. Next please. How's that X chromosome feel? All humans have at least one. Women don't, moron. Ah, that moron at the end is so ironic, isn't it? And of course, we all do have that X chromosome, and it is indeed just the males which have the Y chromosome. Next, please. More than 50 million people in the US are under excessive heat warnings. It's called summer. And of course, you can still have heat warnings in summer. Typically, that's when you get the most of them as well, surprisingly. Moving on to our final post, we have this beauty. Kilometres. A metre is a device for measuring things like water or electricity, not a unit of distance, despite it being common practice in the USA, where they don't even use the metric system. Nathan, is that you?
So if you have a metre and I divide that metre by 1,000, you don't think that would give you millimetres?
Meters into kilometres, Nathan.
You just said you divide metres by 1,000 to get kilometres. So you're saying I divide something that is 1 metre long by 1,000, and that will come out to a kilometre value.
Nathan,
it sounds like you are quite literally retarded with that statement.
It may just be, guys. Of course, this one is self-explanatory and I don't really need to say anything. Right, well, there we go. Another wonderful look at the Facebook science community. I think we've done a great job at highlighting the absurdity. I just hope we've done enough. But for now, we are all done and dusted for another Tinfoil Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching today. Genuinely is appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing. If you like this particular one, there's another 9 episodes of Facebook Science. They're in a playlist. Do go check them out. I'll put the link in the description. And of course, if you really enjoyed it today, hit that like button as well. Just enough time to once again thank Surfshark for sponsoring today. Remember, visit surfshark.deal/SimonDan. And use my code SimonDan to get a whopping 83% off and 3 months extra free. I have been SimonDan. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another Misconception Mini. See you then. Today is the...
Whoop, sorry. I was going to play that again. And it's usually the younger generation that usually have all these comments about things that they don't know about.
Yeah.
So Canada's in the USA. Okay.
There you go. Things you didn't know before.
Boy, I know some Canadians that are going to be pissed when they find out about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's your lot for tonight. I'll just say goodbyes to the peanuts out there in text. Yeah, Sean's still out there. Happy birthday, because I've seen that he did a birthday stream recently. Looks like he turned the big 6-0.
Oh.
making
Someone
ring
going
noises.
ping. Sound.
It was me going bing. I mean, well, you must have noticed. I had somebody far more important to talk to on a video call a little while ago.
Yeah, we spotted that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was demonstrating to me his lorry driving skills. He's got a Mercedes Actos riding toy truck.
Ah, right.
With power and remote control, so you can take it out. They can go out for walks in it. With it,
Yeah.
He can either drive it or ride it around.
Couple over the way, their little girl's got a sports car version of that.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful sometimes when you're coming back into the close to make sure she's not zooming about. I mean, one of them's always out there watching her, but that's got a fair turn of speed, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So Harry was demonstrating his lorry driving skills and having to push it around because the motor pack has packed up again. Guess who's having it brought over to have a look at it? Rosie was on Facebook saying, "Does anybody think they can help fix this truck?" And I went,
Yeah.
"Oh.
Well, yeah. Never guess who could help.
Yeah. Did you not think to ask the electronics engineer in the family?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if the motor's packed it in, you have to replace the motor. You can't repair the actual motor.
Well, no, I don't know. I think it might just be the batteries. But I did consider, taking the battery pack out, taking the motor out, and maybe replacing it with some standard RC stuff.
We've got a feral cat out there. I don't know if they've subbed or not, but they can have a spanner if they're subbed.
So I'm reading about dumb things people did when they were kids, and this guy says, "My shining moment was when I was aged 4. I put floaties on my feet and jumped into a pool thinking that I'd walk on water. I almost drowned."
Yep, that can happen. Now I know how buoyancy works.
Dumb comments. I thought Hitler was dead, so how is World War III happening?
So we need Hitler for it to be a world war, do we?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did fight in the First World War, so
yeah.
He was in both world wars, so
I don't think that's the major common denominator there.
I was going to say so was Churchill, but he was more in charge of shit during both world wars.
Or maybe if the Volkswagen was getting reinvented, we could think of World War III happening. No.
Good old Ferdinand Porsche gave us the original Volkswagen.
Yep.
The people's car.
Didn't he give us the Kubelwagen as well?
And he also, and one of the greatest memes I've ever seen, where the girl's going, "He said he had a Porsche," and underneath there's a photo of the Ferdinand tank destroyer. That was a Porsche. I wouldn't mind having one of them parked on the drive. And it was a hybrid.
I wonder if you still had the vouchers, you could still buy one.
Yeah, he designed hybrids with a dirty great big 88mm gun sticking out the front.
Wasn't the King wasn't the King Tiger going to be a hybrid as well? If Porsche had his way.
Yes, which is why you've got those early turrets with the curved tops. That was designed to fit on his design, and everything was electric.
Oh, we're not going to be here for another hour talking about tanks, are we?
No.
I don't mind you talking about it. I don't mind you talking about it. It was just some people instigate the conversation to and gets continued.
Yeah. Shall we say good night?
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Lisa Minor. I can't read that.
Lise.
Metna?
It's not Lisa. It's Lise.
Lise.
Lise,
Yeah.
okay. Meitner.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Farmer. Thanks, Blue. And
Yeah, thanks, man.
and it's Wednesday today, Blue.
Thank you. Yes, I'll make a note.
Thanks, Anamorphic, 9 o'clock, Stevie B, Judy, Tiny Captain, Feral Cat, Rimfondle, Biggest Doggers, Clive, Fred, Jaren Eurism, 9 o'clock, Sean, Dora, Stevie B, Thurston the Second, Robert X. Oh, I'm running out of names pretty quick. I'm sure we missed out on somebody. I've got to go scroll up. Ozzie NRG. Haven't seen Carl lately. Grumpy old Gunt. Truth Nerds. Who else? Am I missing somebody? Who am I missing?
Don't know.
Don't know. Dora. Oh, did I see Judy? Don't know if I've seen Judy out there tonight. Oh, scroll back down again. Oh, Stevie B. Okay then. Night panel. Night Peanut sees on Saturday.
Peanuts.
Night Peanuts.
Yeah. You gotta sing We Will Rock You.
And
This
another
is
one
really
bites the dust.
getting on my tits.
Boom, boom.